Hello. Let me, sorry. Indy, what's up? Let me, move on to the Discord. Gotta put my Discord in, beep. Yep. I'm getting it, fostering a kitten. Hold on. Sticks is gone. Sorry, I'm just, gotta... Oh, this is starting. Need to, link in here. Yeah, I'm fostering kittens. One of my friends is coming over in like an hour to drop off a kitten that they found at, in an alleyway. Let me show you a picture. Its name is, Puff. Let's see if I can get a picture of this without leaking. Yeah, I think it's cute. I think it's a cute name. Lauren, my girlfriend who was fostering the other ones, is not totally into it, but this is... Can you see it? That's Puff. Look at it. This cat will be over at my house within 2 hours. Dumeshi, good to see you too. Yeah, so just to fill you guys in, we're gonna watch the coronavirus briefing. I don't know if you guys have been watching these. I think they're doing it every day. Good timing though. But yeah, every day Trump is and his team are updating the nation. It is usually earlier in the day, right? Yeah. I feel like it's usually in the morning. Usually around noon. I've been watching a lot of them. I mean, yeah. I know. That's the funny thing, is they're so big on like social distancing, but hold on. Fix the lighting in here. Oh, there he is. They're so big on social distancing, but they're all just like packed in there.
Well, thank you very much.
They're immune.
We have fewer people because of the virus problem, and we appreciate you being here.
Virus problem.
And this is getting to be more and more social distancing, and that's fine. So it should be, and it's too bad. We extend our best wishes to the person affected, and we feel sure that
blue tie, does that mean something?
very soon. And
You can tell something by his
Here,
tie.
America continues to mobilize every segment of our society to turn the tide in the battle against the virus. I want Americans to know that we will get through this challenge. The hardship will end. It will end soon.
Well, Trump is
Normal
literally
life will
within there.
return, and our economy will rebound very, very strongly.
Soon.
But right now, in the midst of this great national trial, Americans must remain united in purpose and focused on victory.
Yeah.
To every single American, please know that the sacrifice you're making at this time is saving lives, many, many lives. It's very important that we totally protect our Asian American community in the United States and all around the world. They're amazing people, and the spreading of the virus is not their fault in any way, shape, or form. They're working closely with us to get rid of it. We will prevail together. It's very important. From the beginning, we have been working closely with our nation's best scientists and medical professionals,
Thanks,
and
Trump.
we will continue to do so until we have defeated the virus. Our public health experts, who are terrific, are studying the variation in the disease across the country, and we will be using data to recommend new protocols to allow local economies to cautiously resume their activity at the appropriate time. We also have a large team working on what the next steps will be once the medical community gives a region the okay, meaning the okay to get going, to get back. Let's go to work. Our country wasn't built to be shut down. This is not a country that was built for this. It was not built to be shut down. My administration continues to work with Democrats and Republicans to reach an agreement on an urgent relief bill for the millions of American workers and small businesses and large businesses that were badly affected by the medical difficulty that we've had. If you had a viable business in January, we are committed to ensuring the same is true in the coming weeks. In fact, we want to make it even better than it was before, and we're doing things to help in that regard. America will again and soon be open for business, very soon, a lot sooner than 3 or 4 months that somebody was suggesting.
Really?
A lot sooner. We cannot let the
A lot sooner? I don't know.
We're not going to let
I think it'll be at least 3 months.
At the end of the 15-day period, we'll make a decision as to which way we want to go, where we want to go, the timing, and essentially we're referring to the timing of the opening, essentially the opening of our country, because we have it pretty well shut down in order to get rid of this invisible enemy. 2 weeks ago, we moved at record speed to pass paid sick leave and paid family medical leave and approved $8 billion, including money for the...
It'll be over in 4 days? Yeah, I don't think so. The virus over with in China. They're slowing it down a lot. I don't think they have many new cases anymore, but it's not totally over, but they've pretty much tamped it down, yeah. But I don't know how many months was that? Like 4 months, 5 months?
And I think that's happening. I got a call a little while ago. I guess they're getting closer. It should go quickly. And it must go quickly. It's not really a choice.
I just read that they were sort of opening up Wuhan again, which was the epicenter. So I don't think they're in total
focusing solely and
lockdown.
squarely on the needs of the American people. We are going to save American workers, and we're going to save them quickly. And we're going to save our great American companies, both small and large. This was a medical problem. We are not going to let it turn into a long-lasting financial problem. It started out as a purely medical problem, and it's not going to go beyond that. We're just not going to allow that to happen. Our country was at its strongest financial point. We've never had an economy.
He's setting this
like we
up
had
to
just a
just
few
lift
weeks ago,
everything
and then
as
it
soon
got
as possible.
hit with something that nobody could have ever thought possible. And we are fixing it. We're fixing it quickly. And I want to just thank the American people for what they've been through and what they're doing. Our country will be
They know
stronger than
something.
ever before.
What do they know that we
And
don't?
fully
Inevitably late.
anticipate that, and it won't be that long.
Scandal.
Let me
Vaccine will
provide you
take
with an
maybe a
update
year.
on critical supplies. FEMA is distributing 8 million N95 respirator masks and 13.3 million.
I mean, he's obviously going to run again,
across
Joey,
the
but
country right now.
will he win?
Focusing on the areas with the greatest need, we've shipped 73 pallets of personal protective equipment to New York City and 36 pallets to the state of Washington. In the past 96 hours, FEMA has also received donations of approximately 6.5 million masks. We're having millions and millions of masks made as we speak.
Need 1K? I don't know if that's in this bill, actually.
We will be distributing to medical hotspots. We're focused on some of the hotspots. Across the nation, we're seeing an outpouring of creativity and innovative ideas widely shared between the federal health leaders, governors, and mayors, the scientific community, and members of the private sector. Really working together. Everybody's working together. I'm pleased to report that clinical trials in New York will begin existing for existing drugs that may prove effective against the virus. At my direction, the federal government is working to help obtain large quantities of chloroquine. And you can look from any standpoint tomorrow in New York. We think tomorrow pretty early, the hydroxychloroquine.
He's very big on chloroquine.
And, the Z-Pack, I think, is a combination, probably is looking very, very good, and it's going to be distributed. We have
I haven't really
10,000
read that much about how
going,
chloroquine
and
works.
it'll be
but
distributed tomorrow.
it's a malaria medicine, I think, right?
And is now. They already have it. They're going to distribute it tomorrow morning to a lot of people in New York City.
I mean, that's like one of the few things that
we're studying it very closely, watching it very closely.
can kind of control,
you
or
probably saw
like
a couple of articles today came out where
that he's
a
making
gentleman,
better.
they thought he was not going to make it. He said goodbye to his family. They had given him the drug just a little while before, but he thought it was over. His family thought he was going to die. And a number of hours later, he woke up, felt good. Then he woke up again, and he felt really good. And he's in good shape. And he's very happy for this particular drug that we got approved.
William
in
Barr over here
record-setting
is
time.
not looking very good.
Anything even close to it.
Very glum.
And I want to thank the FDA, which has been incredible, and Dr. Hahn, Stephen Hahn, highly respected man, but they're doing everything possible to increase production and available supply of these drugs, not only this drug, but also others that are coming. Remdesivir is coming from Regeneron. A couple of others are also under study. But the one that I'm very excited about right now is the one we just mentioned, and I think there's a.
He's not a doctor. He's not a medical guy. It's just like, who would listen to his speculation about how effective a drug would be or not? You know,
a gift from God, if that worked, it would be a big game changer. So we'll see. But distribution starts tomorrow morning early in New York, and I think a lot of people are going to be. Hopefully, they're going to be very happy with the result. But we're all going to be watching closely. It's something we have to try. It's been very, very successful in malaria. Very, very successful.
Bill Gates and Event 201. I don't know what that is.
Countries with
You're into
malaria
this conspiracy shit, huh?
Interesting thing happened. They take this particular drug. It's a very powerful drug. And there is very little semblance of the virus in those countries. And there are those that say because this drug is very prevalent because of the malaria. So we'll see.
You've seen it tested on patients? Maybe.
I'm also announcing that we're postponing the deadline for compliance with real ID requirements.
There was somebody...
At a time when we're asking Americans to maintain social distancing.
I read that there's somebody...
to require people to go with their local DMV.
I read that there was somebody who tried to take that drug and they died, actually. They tried to do DIY.
Short moment. Overnight, we successfully brought home 103 American citizens after they had been stranded.
What's it called?
In Brazil,
following
a cruise.
Chloroquine?
And their great president.
Yeah.
Most of those returned were senior citizens. My administration in cooperation.
This a man and his wife,
Governor Greg Abbott of Texas,
under critical care after the couple, both in their 60s, ingested chloroquine phosphate. one of the anti-malarial drugs that President Trump has mentioned in recent days.
Earlier today, I signed an executive order invoking presidential
I don't know if that's
4512 of the Defense Production Act to prohibit
don't self-medicate. Don't go out and get some of that, because Trump talks about it.
Supplies such as hand sanitizers, face masks, and personal protective equipment. We have a lot of face masks, a lot of equipment just coming in, and we have some people hoarding. And Attorney General Barr is going to be speaking about that in a second. We want to prevent price gouging, and critical health and medical resources are going to be protected in every form.
I see. Barr's going to announce that they're charging some people with like hoarding or scamming.
To designate essential health and medical supplies
in
as
advance,
scarce.
really?
So he'll designate certain supplies and medical elements as scarce, and that means it will be a crime to stockpile these items in excessive quantities, which is happening to a relatively small degree, we think, but nevertheless it's happening. We can't let it happen. And we can't let them resell them at excessive prices, which some people are doing. Very simply, we will not allow anyone to exploit the suffering of American citizens for their own profit. So we're going to be watching that with our great Attorney General very closely.
Right.
The Department of Justice
the entire
aggressively prosecuting
healthcare industry is
fraudulent
basically
schemes
based on
related to
profiting
the
from people
pandemic.
suffering, you know?
Yesterday,
It's a little
federal
hypocritical.
prosecutors took action in their first case, shutting down a website selling a totally fake vaccine, if you can believe that one. As president, I will always fight to protect Americans from being exploited.
Executive order to
Thankfully,
prohibit hoarding.
all throughout the country, we're witnessing extraordinary acts of compassion, benevolence, and unity. Construction companies are donating masks by the hundreds of thousands. Manufacturing workers are transforming their assembly lines. Citizens are volunteering to deliver food and medicine to the elderly. We're truly seeing America at its best. We're really seeing things that people never thought even could happen. Frankly, we never thought this could happen. But the way most Americans are working toward getting it solved and just doing what they have to do to make this go away has been incredible. It's been incredible. I want to take a moment to thank the everyday heroes who are making our vast effort against the virus possible. And thank you to the healthcare workers and the first responders. These are very brave people. Thanks also to the hardworking men and women of Federal Express, UPS, the United States Postal Service, and the truckers who are maintaining our supply chains and supply lines. We thank you very much. Great job. We also want to give our regards and thanks to everyone at our grocery stores working the night shift so that shelves can be restocked, and the restaurant workers and delivery drivers keeping our families fed. So many of these restaurants, it's incredible. They're doing service where people come and they pick it up. Delivery. I mean, it's been incredible what they've been doing.
Beep, I'm trying.
Different business than they were in, other than food.
I tried to donate my masks. I have like 15 N95 masks in my house right now. This guy I know on Twitter said he was gonna come and pick. He was working with some organization, and they were gonna send somebody over on a motorcycle to pick up my mask yesterday. But it was like 9. It was like 9 p.m. Like I had DM'd him in the morning because he was like collecting masks with some organization, and I was like, I have these masks, and he said, okay, somebody will come over. Didn't hear anything from him. I gave him my address, and then at like 9:30 or p.m. he was like, all right, somebody can come over in half an hour to get him. But I was at my girlfriend's house. I wasn't even home, and so it never happened. So I'm hoping that I DM'd him today to be like,
Now I'd like to
you know,
Attorney General Bill Barr to say a few words.
I'll be home all day tomorrow, but he hasn't texted me. I don't really know where to go to drop these masks off. I should figure that out. I should really donate them.
Let me
Let's hear what
start
Bar has to
by
say.
thanking you, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, for your decisive leadership in this unprecedented battle to save
This
American
is the Attorney
lives.
General here.
At the Department of Justice, we're working hard to protect the health and safety of our personnel while at the same time keeping our enforcement efforts at full throttle. So I'd like to thank all of my colleagues in law enforcement.
Don't give the
not
message.
just those
They'll
in the
harvest my
federal,
organs.
but of all our state and local.
I have like
police
12
officers,
masks.
The sheriff's deputies who are protecting and serving their communities, often at great risk to themselves. What I'd like to do here is start with a few remarks about the order that the President mentioned.
About the hoarding.
To ensure the availability of critical medical.
I'm hoarding them.
Supplies from hoarding and price gouging.
I gotta get rid of them now.
On March 18th,
They're gonna send
the President issued Executive Order.
they're gonna send a
1309
SWAT team to my house to get them.
with respect to the health and medical resources needed to respond to the spread of COVID-19, including PPE and ventilators. We have started to see some evidence
Well, yeah, I
of
mean,
hoarding and price gouging.
I'm keeping a
The
few.
President signed.
I'm keeping a few of them because obviously I want one for me if I go out and want to do some reporting,
Of those necessary
and keeping them a couple for my friends. But
under
you
Section
know,
102 of
the
Defense Production
hospital workers need them more than me. They're the ones who are going to be exposed to this over and over again. So
Resources
I'm just keeping like I had 20, I had 19,
materials whose supply would be threatened.
and
Persons accumulating
gave 4,
specific materials
gave like
are so
5 to some friends. I'm gonna keep one.
prohibited from accumulating those items in excess of
And what's this? Trump? I'm being invaded by Trump
selling them in
fans right now.
excess of prevailing market prices. It is a crime.
Save one for Puff. Okay, I will.
Prohibited activity. In today's executive order, the President is delegating to the Secretary of HHS this authority to protect against hoarding by designating these critical items. Now, no items have been designated yet.
Oh, what's with all these MAGA trolls in here?
HHS to identify cases
You really can leave if you want.
may be impeding the supply of health and medical resources needed to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, we convened our first task force meeting, a national task force that will be working on these supply chain issues and specifically on the problem of hoarding and price gouging. And we are designating in each of our 93 United States Attorney's offices a lead prosecutor who will be responsible in that district for
If you reuse it,
cases. I also want to say that we have not waited for this order
Wait.
to be signed. As we have received evidence.
What are you talking about?
Already initiated investigations of activities.
if you have one and reuse it, you risk the chance of carrying the virus on your mask.
I want to stress.
But I'm not
we're
like.
talking about consumers or businesses stockpiling supplies for their own operations. We're talking about people.
I'm not
Goods and materials on an.
I'm not going out to like have people cough on me all the time, right? Like if it gets on the surface, then it will go away after like 72 hours. So I think I can reuse the same mask, all right.
This is not something you have to worry about. But if you are sitting on a warehouse,
The bar's talking about hoarding all these masks now.
surgical masks, you will be hearing a knock on your door. So with that,
Uh-oh.
Mr. President, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you very much. Deborah, please.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
She's from
To
the.
start, I want to really thank all the ministers.
I forget
involved
who she's
around
from.
the
She's
world
from the
who
health
have
department or
sent us
whatever.
Data, despite the fight that
HHS.
they're in themselves, particularly our European colleagues. They continue to send us primarily their mortality data, which is really very critical because when you're in the midst of this level of fight that many of the European countries are Following mortality data will give you the best insight right now on how the epidemic.
You have to dispose of them every time?
Because they really can't be testing at the level to really understand the depth and breadth of their new cases. In the mortality data that has been provided to us, there has been no child under 15 that has succumbed to the virus in Europe.
That's like
There
the
was
one good
in China.
thing of
so
this.
We still see that
Kids
there's
aren't
less
being
severity in children, and so that should be reassuring to the moms and dads out there. To Generation Z and to my millennial colleagues who have been really at the forefront of many of these responses, less than 1% of all the mortality is less than 50. And so this is, I think, also a very important point. That doesn't mean
anybody here over 50? No.
Severe disease. So still 99% of all the mortality coming out of Europe in general is over 50 and pre-existing conditions. The pre-existing condition piece still holds in Italy with the majority of the mortality.
How old is everybody in here?
The pre-existing conditions. I think this is reassuring to all
30?
of us, but it doesn't change the need to continue to protect.
Well, you're okay.
And in order to protect
32?
we
41?
continue to do the president's directives and guidance for the next.
No, you're fine, probably.
15-day challenge. Finally, I wanted to really close by thanking the laboratory personnel that have been at the front lines. 250,000 tests have been run in the last 7 days. This happened because these large commercial laboratories are doing round-the-clock runs. And remember, all of them are being exposed to the virus in the same way from the swabs. Yet tirelessly, they have worked on and on to get those results available. They are still getting more tests than they can run per day. That's because we were primarily expanded into what we call the Roche high-throughput tri-core machine. Those results have been getting to the clients, and we've asked them to prioritize hospitalized patients. There was a breakthrough today, and I think you'll see this from the...
Save the mask. It's barely enough for you, considering you have to dispose of the mask, or else you risk carrying the virus on the mask. You're why it's spreading, you simpleton. Stylist Craig, how do you know? I mean, I think you're supposed to dispose of the mask if you can, but I think that if you don't, it's better than nothing. How is it going to get, let's say it gets on the mask, then how does it infect other people? They have to touch the mask, right? Like, nobody's touching the mask except me.
That mortality data that I gave you should be very reassuring to all of you. Finally, to conclude...
Gotta figure out a better way to do this.
The New York metro area of New Jersey, New York City, and parts of Long Island have an attack rate close to 1 in 1,000.
New York's getting pummeled.
5 times what the other areas are seeing. Through the high-throughput lab investigations, we're finding that 28% of the submitted specimens are positive from that area, where it's less than 8% in the rest of the country. So to all of my friends and colleagues in New York, this is the group that needs to absolutely social distance and self-isolate at this time. Clearly, the virus had been circulating there for a number of weeks to have this level of penetrance into the general community.
I look good, Springwater? Thank you. What do you think will happen when rats realize their usual food has dried up? I mean, they're still...
Coronavirus task force
they'll be okay.
Met today, but we also convened at the president's direction.
They're very
conference call with the nation's
savvy.
governors, and we focused on efforts at mitigation, at testing, and supplies. We discussed the president's recent approval of disaster declarations for Washington and California and New York. But we also assured governors who've submitted major disaster declarations that we will be reviewing them.
You think I even wrote it?
To ensure
you think I've even started writing it?
Resources the federal government are brought to bear. The president wanted us to make it clear that the federal government will do whatever it takes to support an effort that is locally executed, state managed, and federally supported. We reiterated that to our governors today.
Very little.
Their specific needs.
Hence auditions for a war movie in the 80s.
And frankly,
he totally does.
To them.
His voice.
The president has published at coronavirus.gov the 15 days to slow the spread for every American. And millions of Americans are addressing these common sense guidelines.
He loves the 15 days.
the spread of the coronavirus in the
What's going to happen
days
after 15
ahead.
days? It's not going
Made it clear to
down.
the governors that this president and this administration fully supports decisions that governors are making in communities and states that are particularly impacted by the spread of the coronavirus, and we are grateful for their efforts. We also spoke to the governors about the importance of the legislation that is currently being negotiated on Capitol
It's not a
Hill.
hit piece. It's not a hit piece.
Asked them
Also, it wasn't
to
free
urge the
vacations.
House
I
and the
paid.
Senate to move very quickly. The bill that is currently being negotiated, the president said that he believes will be resolved soon, and we're encouraged by it. We'll speed direct payments to families. The average family of 4 will receive $3,000 directly. There'll be payroll.
Oh, so they are talking about the
for small businesses
cash
around
payments.
America, people on the payroll, while they might
Family of 4 gets $3,000.
insurance benefits.
How much do I get as like a single person with no kids?
And we continue to urge the Congress to act and ask the governors to engage their delegations. On the subject of testing, we reiterated our thanks to states across the country that are rapidly expanding testing at drive-through sites and at community sites. As Dr. Birx just reflected, because of the
$300 in a bag of rice. All right.
Partnership
Well, I'll have a party with
the
that.
president initiated with our commercial labs.
You make over 100K, I think it's zero. Well,
Today,
I don't make over 100K, so
315,000 tests having been completed, with the test results delivered to Americans, and still somewhat more than 41,000 have contracted coronavirus. But this state-run effort is continuing.
What, is this boring to you?
Full support of our team at FEMA.
This is what's going on
Public Health Service
in our country right now.
Personnel, we're deploying resources, and testing is literally.
Honestly, what I usually watch is for the question and answer. That's the good part.
Has been in the process of reviewing less invasive methods of testing.
The Q&A is always the most interesting because Trump, journalists ask him like normal good questions, and then Trump has a meltdown, and that's when he always just says weird shit.
Individuals could, at the end of their nasal passage, collect a sample and
15 days, virus stays dormant or whatever for up to 2 weeks. Right. Yeah, so we're doing this for 15 days, but there wasn't really any goal. There wasn't really any end goal, or like what are we actually looking for? They didn't give any sort of guidelines of like after 15 days, what if it starts going down? Are they going to lift it, or are they just going to lift it arbitrarily after 15 days? Because the way it's going now, it doesn't seem like it's going to fucking go down. It's shooting up. If anybody's looked at the infection rate, like we are. Let's see.
Them with efforts at conservation as well. On the subject of testing, it's important to remember, as the old book said, it is not the healthy
chart,
but the sick. And so, if you don't have symptoms, you don't need to get a coronavirus.
I wonder if there's a.
We encourage.
Has anyone seen like a good chart where it just like charts the rate of infection?
That are symptomatic.
I don't. It's definitely not going down.
From Health and Human Services, new guidance to direct all commercial labs.
What do my parents think of my career?
Testing for hospitalized.
They like it.
That guidance is going out.
They're
We also reminded the governors today that
what's
all
BBM?
Laboratories, all hospitals.
I mean, I think they're proud of me. They like my articles.
Results of coronavirus tests.
MSN.
On the subject of supplies, in our meeting today at FEMA, we received a report of the new Supply Chain Stabilization Task Force. Rear Admiral John
There's the Johns Hopkins map, but
FEMA, and the task force is,
that one, I don't know if it has it over time. You want to read what I write? Well, just Google me. I'm all on the internet. Oh yeah, see, look.
Around the country to produce even more of the critical
daily increases. So
and as the president
I don't think this is going down. It's not
maybe as never before in our history. 3M, in fact.
So in 2 weeks, in a week, we've already been doing the 15 days of whatever, 15 days of coronavirus. It's like it's not actually helping. I mean, it is helping, but it's not actually going to be long enough to do anything good.
Healthcare workers, and these are just a few examples.
We're going to have to keep going doing this.
We're also seeing companies step forward to repurpose their manufacturing facilities to create ventilators, to create equipment. And I know I speak for the President when I say how grateful and proud we are for that. We also discussed with the governors a real breakthrough on the availability of ventilators. We called on the governors to survey all outpatient
question everything
centers and hospital operating rooms, because surgical ventilators that Assini...
Okay, this is pretty boring, actually. This is one of the less interesting ones. What's this? Coronavirus track, the latest figures. Oh, yeah. So... cumulative number of cases since 100th case. I mean, look at we're just going up. There's not any sign that it is about to peak. So are they going to, after 15 days, declare that we've halted the spread and then start lifting it? No, because we're going to have more cases than ever. Seriously, don't leave your house. Setting a high score. I'm trying not to leave. You know, I'm trying to adhere by the order. I'm trying to do as little as possible. Today, all I did was I walked down the street to go to the taco truck, and got a taco there. Which, I mean, maybe that wasn't the safest thing to do, but I needed to get out of the house. How was the taco? Oh, it was amazing. Actually, it wasn't a taco. I lied. It was what's it called? Not fajita. Quesadilla. Chicken quesadilla. Really good. Really good. I still have part of it in. But yeah, yesterday I went to the laundromat. I actually am going to have to go to the laundromat again today to pick up my laundry because I don't have laundry. But I'm leaving the house maybe once or twice a day to go for a walk or do like an essential errand. And it's not fun. I don't know. I'm definitely going a little stir crazy. Just going to the store is a risk. I had to go to the other day. I hear someone cough in the distance. Well, I was with Lauren, my girlfriend, in Costco, and somebody like coughed right in front of her, which was a little unnerving. But I don't know. You're supposed to cover your cough, you know. Inevitably late. You think this is all a government conspiracy? Where's the... I saw a guy in Publix yesterday. He had on a full paint respirator. That's pretty good. I'm gonna start. I think I'm gonna start wearing a mask when I go grocery shopping. Maybe I just don't want to. I really don't want to get it. Do you guys know anybody who's gotten it? My editor, one of my editors at a magazine, got it. He thinks he said that he's sick. He doesn't seem that sick, but he lost his sense of taste and smell. You know that's a symptom? You mysteriously lose your taste of sense and smell. A guy at your office got it? I mean, a lot of people are gonna get it. They said 50% in California they were estimating. This is Atlanta. Atlanta doesn't seem to have that many yet, right? Where is this event 201? What is this? Event 201. This is something that Inevitably Late sent me. It's long. Segment 1, Intro and Medical. It's like a tabletop exercise hosted by the... Oh, it's sort of like a game, huh? They like were gaming out a simulation. Let's see. So they were simulating a pandemic. They exercised a pandemic on the coronavirus.
Your Master of Ceremonies
I
for
see.
Event 201. On behalf of our center and our partners, the World Economic Forum and the Bill and Melinda Gates
supportive treatment, or what is it that's explaining what look to be significantly different patterns in the outbreak of the epidemic? The second point is that these are all middle-income countries or high-income countries, and as Jane mentioned, low-income countries.
With developing
Is there a good summary of this or something? Highlights?
The public communication is a major part of that because of these conspiracy theories.
Thank you. We have to close.
Conspiracy theories.
30 seconds.
Okay, but please fully support this input. We should not search for the perfect solution right now.
Oh yeah. Here's... Let's see what the World Economic Forum learned from this. All these simulations have leaders that are too rational. I mean, Trump. Okay, we ran an event called...
These epidemic events are getting more and more disruptive to health and to economy. And the reason we called it Event 201 is we knew eventually one of these days, one of those events would be the big one. And that big one would really challenge our capacity to respond. And to respond to the big one, we do need to have all hands on deck.
Why is it, oops. Why is it actually getting more deadly? Urge the public
Participants are confronted by a hypothetical scenario that presents to them the challenges of...
It's sort of an ARG, it's like a simulation. See, they're trying to figure out what it might happen by playing it out.
That you'll see that you'll have to address to address the disruptions that you're seeing to your healthcare system or to your organization. All stakeholders realize pretty quickly just how underprepared we are and just how much is possible when we work together. And that the individual actions of any government or company won't add up to a proper global response. I think if we're honest...
Was supposed to be an exercise, but the virus they chose was corona. Now here we are with the coronavirus, or corona pandemic. Seems odd, no? Coincidence after coincidence. So you're saying that this was planted, this was created by the World Economic Forum?
Collectively, the international community...
Why would they do that?
...has never done enough to respond to global health security challenges. That we knew before COVID that the world was underprepared for...
Is that how you actually pronounce it? COVID? That's the first time I heard that.
Biological risk.
Is it COVID and not COVID? I've always said COVID. Let's see, how do you... What do they say here?
COVID-19.
Yeah, see? Well, this is just random people.
COVID-19.
You sound like 12-year-olds.
COVID-19.
Weapon to surpass Metal Gear. Okay, yes, it's a bioweapon. Corona is a type of virus.
When we walked into the room in New York, if you would have asked, do you think the world is prepared for a pandemic, I think everyone around that table would have said no. But it's when they walked out, I think it's when we really knew that if we are going to get ready, we need to have operationalized and integrated public-private cooperation that we haven't seen before.
Now that response is being tested in real life, we are not doing very well. They didn't really explain what they learned though, just that we were unprepared. Yeah. This is kind of a creepy video. It's just like weird stock photo. It's like the world has already been destroyed and we're having to repopulate it with stock images. People downplay that it wasn't yet known how fast it would start. This isn't complicated. Corona is a family, but the COVID is a new one, is all I meant. Right, you're right. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have any idea it would get this bad. I'll be honest, I didn't think it would be this bad. I thought it was going to be like swine flu, like up and down in one day. I didn't really prepare. I mean, you don't really need to prepare that much, but I'm not like, I wasn't freaking out about it. Well, Fosuko, did I finish Death Stranding? I did, yeah. Why would China now lie about the number of new infections now? Maybe it's kind of blown over there. It doesn't make sense. I don't think that they're lying. I mean, it's impossible to say, I guess, but yeah. They lies about fucking everything. I mean, it's not a bad point. Maybe the optimistic take would be that they learned from the fact that everyone got really mad at them for covering it up the first time, and now they're trying to be honest. I don't know. I guess I'm a little more optimistic than people. Posuko, I do have toilet paper. I just happened to have bought like a 12-pack the week before this all went down, so Are you guys all locked in places where you're locked down when you're not supposed to leave your house? Yeah, we're not supposed to leave our houses except for extreme, urgent matters. I've just been sitting inside, reading the news a lot, I gotta stop reading so much news. It's not good for me. I need to limit to like maybe like 2 hours a day of coronavirus news. It's just freaking me out. I think very overwhelming, feeling like have no control over anything, and also just upset about all the horrible ways that we're fucking this up, the way that Trump's dealing with it, the way that so many people are out of jobs and hurt economically. Luckily, I'm in a position where so far it hasn't necessarily affected me economically because I'm writing for magazines. I've got this book. I don't have a job, but I know a lot of people who are laid off. Gave you a panic attack the other night. It goes up and down, right? Where like, I think during the night, it's just like you're just sitting there like thinking, be like, holy fuck, like how bad can this get? When's it gonna be over? Is anyone I know going to die? I should be calling people. Everybody's now home, so they're texting and calling, and like I'm normally not very good with like corresponding with people over email or phone or text anyway, so now I'm just like got an extra level of anxiety about everything. It's weird. Like they say, you're isolated, you're in your room, but I feel more sort of like social anxiety than ever. Like I feel like, oh, I should be texting this person, I should be responding to this person, I should catch up with this person. Like somehow being in my house alone being anxious about sort of like keeping up with people, being a good friend, being a good family member, that has become much more apparent to me than in daily life, where it's sort of easier to ignore, I guess. But at the same time, we're like trapped in our house, but everybody's just hanging out. It's so easy to call somebody. I don't know. Maybe I'm just having a little bit of meltdown. You're seeing the real time descent into madness here. Reading news has seriously fucked with my sleep schedule. Yeah. Start growing herbs in your kitchen window. Oh, that's a good idea. Started doing a really big puzzle. That was kind of fun. Waffle Scratch, what's up? Yeah, we were just sitting, I'm hanging out with my girlfriend, and my friend Jesse was staying with me for a while, although he's gone now. And we were just doing a puzzle the other night, which was fun, listening to music. Although then, we got a little stoned, and I think it's just I get pretty paranoid in general when I'm smoking weed, and I don't really like weed that much, but I think in this day and age, it just gets me really my mind racing. Waffle Scratch, nothing much, just here in self-isolation, beautiful LA, alone in my room, alone in my apartment, for an indefinite amount of time. Hardcore gamers are like nothing new. Yeah, I've been gaming a lot. Been playing a lot of Warzone with my friends. I won Warzone for the first time yesterday with my friend. That was pretty cool. How long do I think things will stay like this until everything goes back to normal? Do I think it's going to get worse? Yeah, I mean, I can't predict anything. I tweeted this, but I read 2 articles back to back that both mentioned that they thought that the outbreak would last 12 months. That's not saying anything about what we do, but that they think the pandemic will last for 12 months, or 18 months rather, because that's how long it will take to develop a vaccine. So, worst case scenario, we're dealing with the virus for 18 months. That it probably means it will, it'll go up and down. How we deal with it, I don't know if the lockdown will go down, will last for 18 months, but I think there's a good chance that this virus will be, a pandemic for 18 months of greater or lesser severity. So maybe it will, go down a lot sooner than that. I guess I just read that. I read these 2 articles. One was a CDC report that was assuming that it was 18 months. There was this other report talking about how we deal with it, and it said it would be 18 months. That's my mental timeline, but I feel like I feel like the lockdown can't last. It just can't last more than a month or 2. We can't just survive as a society without leaving our houses for 18 months. Everything's going to just be destroyed. So I think what you're going to see in the next few weeks are them trying to set the stage for restart of the economy. And I think that when they do it, it might come back again. We might have a spike, and then we'll have to deal with it again. So maybe in the next over the next 6 months, it's up and down and just all this uncertainty, and I don't know. I really am just ready for it to be done. I don't like this very much. I want to get out of town. I want to just go to a restaurant. Appreciate your insight. You even have been reading estimates of June at the earliest, and that seems like way too long. I don't know. I wouldn't plan on being outside by June, to be honest. At least in LA, like Trump might change the guidelines, but all the cities and all the states are gonna keep doing their own thing, and obviously they don't really trust Trump very much, so I don't know how much what he does or says will impact them. See, Bitcoin lost half its value the other week. That doesn't surprise me. I mean, isn't this the exact like thing that Bitcoin was meant to be? Was like protecting value during the apocalypse, basically, but it went down half its value. Yikes! Ooh. But then see all these Bitcoin sites are still pumping it up. Well, over the 5 years, it's still. It was just over this last month that had a huge drop. Wow, that was a big drop. But yeah, over the 5 years, it's, I mean, holding kind of steady, I guess, but I don't know. I haven't really been following Bitcoin very much. Any of you all own Bitcoin? That's 5 days? This is 5 days? Oh, that's 5 days. Never mind. Oh, yeah. Oof. Never mind. Definitely crashing. Yeah, so you saw that I said in the title that I'm getting a kitten today. That's sort of the big news for me. Last night my friend, so if you watched a while ago, you know that Lauren, my girlfriend, adopts kittens, she fosters kittens, and it's kitten season now. I don't know if I didn't know this before we started dating, but apparently there's a season for kittens. They only have them in the spring, and it's starting now, and so they're kittens. And but the shelters are closed now, basically because of coronavirus. They're not accepting new kittens, and so my friend texted me because she knows Lauren and was like, "Do you want to foster a kitten?" My friend found it, showed me this friend's Instagram post, and it was a really cute little black kitten. And she was just looking for somebody to basically take care of it until her friend could adopt it. So, I think she was going to, Aiden is her name, Aiden was going to take the kitten and foster it until her friend could adopt it, but she just was having trouble getting it to eat. I think she's a little overwhelmed by what's going on, and so Lauren just said that she would take it because she's a very experienced kitten carer. So yeah, this is, I don't know if you can see, very cute little black cat right there. That's gonna be here, and she said she was coming by 4 to 5, which it's 4:06 now. So at any moment, I might have to abandon you for a second, but I'll bring the kitten in. We can hang out with it. We can check it out. If you ever lay on the floor and let kittens crawl all over you, I would. I've never done that particular thing with the kittens. No. I'm allergic. I'm actually allergic to cats, so I try not to get totally involved with them. I think they're really cute though. I like to just like hold, like when they're really small, it's just fun to hold them, to have them just like on your shoulder is fun. Cute when they sleep, you know. But all right, well, she'll come soon. I don't know if anything. Let's check back in with the. Here's what I want to do. I'm still getting back into streaming after a while, but I think the key to it is to just do whatever I want, right? I'm just gonna do whatever I want. You guys can we can hang out. I'm bored. If you want to hang out, that's cool. I'm gonna watch a little more of that. I'm gonna see if I can see if they're taking questions now, because that's the
anesthesiologists use.
Still going? Really?
So we can't turn that off and think it's going to be wonderful. There'll be tremendous repercussions. There will be a tremendous death from that. Death.
Yeah, the Q&A is the best part.
Death. Probably more death from that than anything that we're talking about with respect to the virus.
See, now he's trying to set the stage to get rid of the guidelines.
No, I think we're going to do them both. I think that's what I'm saying. I think we can do them both. Now, we haven't announced a date, but we're getting fairly close to coming up with a date, and it's a much shorter period of time than I've been hearing the news report. And I think everybody should be happy with that. But great knowledge was gained. Please.
I had two questions for you, Mr. President. My second one is on what your economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, said today. He was talking about this, and he said that there are going to have to be some difficult trade-offs if you do ease these guidelines, because he wants the economy to be.
You mean with the Democrats you're talking about?
No. He was talking about how you said, the cure shouldn't be worse than the problem, and he was talking about reopening the businesses, getting the economy going again. What are those difficult trade-offs?
Well, it is true. I mean, if he said, I didn't hear him say that, but if he said difficult trade-offs, sure, it's less convenient. Before you walk and you hop in the subway and you grab the handle and you go down to wherever you're going on Wall Street and you do all sorts of things and you go in and you open the doors going into your great buildings or into the exchanges, and now you're not going to have to maybe think about doing that, or you're going to think about doing it a different way. No, there are many trade-offs. It's a different life, and maybe it'll remain that way, frankly, after the invisible scourge is gone. Maybe it's going to stay that way. Not a bad thing to stay that way, but no, there are trade-offs. There's no question about that. But I actually think
I don't think he's actually answering her question.
We're going to end up being bigger, better, and stronger. We have learned a lot. Please.
She was asking what's the trade-offs of reopening.
In Latin America, in the Middle East,
it's true.
in some places in Asia. Are you considering a new round of travel ban?
No, we're not really. Something like that could happen, I guess, but we're not really. They thought we were going to have bans within the United States. We didn't do that. We're not going to have that. Hopefully that'll take care of itself. No, in Latin America, there's been an uptick. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, just quickly, a second question. What prompted you to say at the beginning of your comments that you're going to take care of the Asian Americans? Has there been something in particular that was?
Yeah, because it seems that there could be a little bit of nasty language toward the Asian Americans in our country, and I don't like that at all. These are incredible people. They love our country, and I'm not going to let it happen. So I just want to make that.
I mean, he's the one who's calling it the Chinese virus.
And they are making statements to great American citizens that happen to be of Asian heritage, and I'm not going to let that happen. Please.
You say you want to reopen the country, but most schools
just calls it the Chinese virus, and then everybody starts doing hate crimes against Asians, and now he's trying to
educate their children.
Yeah, the governors
pretend like he's on our side.
Have a lot of leeway. If we open up, and when we open up, the governors in certain states, for instance, you go to the states I just mentioned, those schools are going to be open. In many cases, they're open now, but the schools are going to be open. In other cases, Governor Cuomo, Gavin Newsom of California,
I got a little cough.
Have a decision to make.
Maybe I got it.
Make a decision to keep them open in a certain part of New York and maybe in Westchester County or wherever it may be. They'll keep them closed, but they're going to have leeway. We're giving the governors a lot of leeway.
Do you agree with the decision to close it several months out at this point? These governors are saying they're expecting a peak in the next couple of months. And have made a decision for
the governors are going to make those decisions. That's going to be up to the governors. And they're very capable. They'll be able to make the decisions. Please.
Sir, will you explain why a $2 trillion economic stimulus is needed if you are going to reopen the country in a period of weeks, not months?
Because the virus has had a big impact on our country. So we're going to give a stimulus so that the workers can live their life. It was not their fault. It wasn't the workers' fault. And we are going to give a kick so that it's a kick. And
So he's saying this is going to reopen in weeks.
Small businesses we're taking very good care of. We want to take care of these small businesses.
We're fucked. We're fucked. It's not. I mean, if it's weeks,
everyone thinks
it's just going to go.
Big, beautiful business.
Everyone's going to get it.
By the way, have been very badly hurt also. But the small businesses have really historically been the engine, and they still are the engine of the country. And you'd be amazed. The workers love those businesses. And the workers contact us, and they want us to help.
Yeah, it's just going to be this coming and going.
Living. That's where they.
It's going to be really annoying.
Money over the years, and you've been seeing what's happened over the last 3 years, where salaries and wages have gone up very substantially for those workers, and then we got caught by this sudden craziness coming into our country, and coming all over the world. So we need to make sure that the companies are strong, and that
my phone's about to die, and I want to make sure that it's on.
Hopefully,
on for Aiden when she gets here with the. Yeah, this is live. This is live right now.
Really close, but we'll see what happens.
Here,
please.
But does it still need to be $2 trillion?
Put it down here.
Can it be
Well, one of
smaller?
the things you're going to have to save
Live.
companies that have been shattered.
I'm gonna go get
You're going to have to save.
I'm gonna go get my charger because Aiden's coming over in a second to drop off the cat. I don't think she wants to be on stream,
the
but
greatest company in the world.
I want to make sure my phone's charged so I get it. Be right back.
Boeing had some difficulty before. That's unlike others. We have other companies that didn't have a problem coming in. Boeing had the obvious problem that everybody knows about from a little more than a year ago, a double problem, and it was a big one. And then on top of it, as they're getting ready to really show their stuff, on top of it, we all get hit by this. And obviously, the airlines are going to have a problem, but the airlines aren't going to be buying from Boeing or from anybody else right now because of this difficulty. So we have to work with the airlines. We have to work with the cruise lines. We have to work with the companies like a Boeing, because Boeing's potentially, again, a great company. It had a very rough period of 13 months, a very rough period, a horrible period, an unbelievable period. If you would have told me this would have happened to Boeing, I wouldn't have believed it, because to me it was, truly one of the truly great, probably almost 1 point of GDP, if you can think of that. It's hard to believe that a company could have that kind of an impact. But Boeing, we have to work with it for two reasons. Number one, it's a great company that we have to save. Number two, it produces unbelievable numbers of jobs. And so, the numbers have to be reflective of that kind of a thing. Please, you know what I'm going to do? We have wonderful people behind us that are working very hard, and we want Bill to get back to the Department of Justice, so we want the Admiral to start going and doing your job, and the same thing with Deb. If anybody would have any questions, maybe I'll ask Mike to stay around, but if anybody would have any questions for the group, and otherwise I'll let them go back to work, please.
If we just clarify with Dr. Birx, we seem to be talking about different geographical slopes on this. The curve would be changing. And yet you just said that 28% numbers coming out of New York gives an indication that we don't quite know when the seeds, to use your metaphor, were planted. So how confident are you on the start dates of each curve for each of the geographical areas that the president seems to be indicating we'll be adjusting the policy for?
So that's a very good question. So what we do know is now we can backtrack from people who get very seriously ill to when they probably got infected versus when they were exposed. And so when you start backing out each of those things, when you start seeing hospitalized patients, you know that the virus has probably been there for 3 to 4 weeks, substantially circulating within the population. So that's what we're looking for. Now, as all of our testing is improved, and we want to really applaud the group who has worked on it. If you look at the pandemic flu preparedness, all of this was built on a flu platform. It was never, ever thought that you'd have a simultaneous respiratory.
Wow, you're blocked. You haven't locked down yet.
At the same time as your flu hits in the country. And so when you're doing all of your flu surveillance, you could have small.
Better go get that last drink, or maybe not. Probably not smart.
Illnesses characterized as a flu-like illness for the last 4 to 6 weeks. And so that's really a caution to all of us. And so when we get through all of this, we'll be looking at each of the pandemic preparedness plans. A long way of saying we know the state is a little bit ahead of New York because of the hospitalization rate.
Yeah, the liquor stores are open here too. It's an essential service.
With the amount of testing that
as someone who enjoys drinking, I agree, but it's kind of odd.
Simultaneously doing containment contract tracing at the same time you're doing mitigation. And I think right now we put everything into mitigation.
The weed shops are also an essential service, I think. But a lot of them are only doing curbside pickup.
We'll be able to approach this in a very laser-focused way.
Also, farmers markets are open in LA, which is interesting. I want to go to one because I think they're doing all sorts of weird things to make sure that they're safe.
Go ahead, please.
When will the government roll out the antibody tests so people can know possibly if they've been exposed?
So several of them have come to the FDA, I believe. Obviously, that's something I'm very interested in for two reasons. One,
I want this.
It will give us a retrospective on where these infections were, who was actually infected, and how really asymptomatic versus mild versus all of that comes into the spectrum. Secondly, by people who have high titers of those antibodies, those can become our solution with plasmapheresis for those in need
and the
making of
what's allowed to stay open.
So knowing who they are becomes really critical.
Almost nothing is
I
open
think we're
here.
still a couple of weeks out.
I want one of the tests that tells you if you've got it or not. I mean, I really want to take a test because if somehow I already had it and I didn't notice, like, I want to know so I can just stop freaking out so much, you know?
Because you see a lot of numbers out there about 70% of the population is going to get infected or 60% of the population based on those models. Understand that the way you get to that number is you do nothing and it goes through 3 cycles. So they're talking about this cycle that we're currently in, another cycle in 2021,
I see.
and a third cycle in 21-22 in order to get that level of population infected. And you know we will have vaccines most likely by the 21-22 season. And we're going to hopefully have therapeutics in the fall of the next season.
I didn't really know that.
So the reason we're so
why do they keep saying the curve? This is just the first.
If the virus comes back, we'll have much more facility both for diagnosis, testing, monoclonal antibodies, treatments, and then the vaccine.
Dr. Brooks, a question about the serology blood tests, which some people said hold some real promise here. When will those be?
Basically, we need to broaden this one out.
She was just asking about.
By the second wave, we'll have the vaccine, hopefully.
Both point of care. I can tell you, it would be no problem making ELISA today. But then you're drawing blood, you're processing blood, you're running plates. That's what we did in the past. We really want a finger prick type assay where you can just put a finger prick on and get your IgG and IgM. So that's what we're working on right now.
Realistically, how long until that's approved and available?
I can't answer because I have to look at where each of the companies are that are in their development processes.
That sounds like a while then.
Well, there's some that are developed now that they were using in Singapore. So we're looking at those to see how those work. So we're looking at those, but we're very quality oriented because we want to make sure we don't give people false negatives or false positives.
I have a question for you. We have a lot of very angry media all around this room, and they want one of these seats. But because of social distancing, we are keeping them empty. And they are keeping them empty. Will there ever be a time when all of those really angry people who don't like me much to start off with, but now they really don't like me, will there ever be a time when these seats are full to the brim like it used to be, where people are almost sitting on each other's lap? And this whole row over here is packed. And now they're outside wanting to get in, and they're very jealous of all of these reporters. Will we ever have that again? Or is that something that will be, it'll look like this forever?
So we're learning a lot about social distancing and respiratory diseases. And I think those are the discussions we have to have in the future. It was what you were talking about changing our
What?
behavior patterns of what we touch.
That is so bizarre.
I remember when I was worried Saturday morning, I was trying to think, what all did I touch on Friday? Did I touch a doorknob? Did I do this? Did I do that? Did I not wash my hands? I mean, you go through this whole piece. Did I touch my face?
I want to hear her interior
So
monologue now.
this
Just be like, what
awareness
the
that we all
fuck?
now have that we didn't have before, where we would have pushed through that door or turned that doorknob because we were in such a hurry. Now I think all of us think twice. I think all of you think twice.
But when the virus is gone, will the people be allowed to sit next to each other again, in your opinion, in a tight room with a tight...
I don't know. You'll have to look and see if we have a new respiratory piece. Certainly, this is the way we set up every clinic all around the world when we're worried about TB
Yes.
and TB transmission.
It just doesn't. Why did he even ask that question? It's so bizarre.
Measures that Britain has put into place. Also, Germany has said he doesn't want to.
That's what I'm talking about. He comes alive during the Q&A. And I have to say, like, who said this?
Does that
True comedian.
your thinking as you are coming up with it?
I mean, I think it is kind of an amusing. He does make me laugh. I mean, it's fucking depressing and scary, but I can appreciate as well that he's kind of amusing.
The more our decisions
That's where his
can be
power comes
completely
from.
Data informed, and really understanding what impact that has. I mean, we're interested right now. I mean, Italy obviously waited until about March 7th. The virus had been circulating for almost 4 weeks before actually going into that methodology. But for the first time, it looks like their mortality rates are starting to decline, which would be an illustration that things that they did 2 and 3 weeks ago may actually have an impact. Those are the kinds of data we're looking at very carefully, as well as very careful data within the United States of exactly where the virus is, what's the attack rate.
I think it's because he just doesn't
Has
care
it
what he
moved out
says.
of its more
That's what makes it
confined
funny. That's part of it.
And really looking at each of those.
It's part of
pieces
it.
information.
He also does have like a weird. He has a weird sense of comedic timing. It's never clear if he means it or not, but like he has this delivery and.
Everybody is adapting to their data. I haven't looked at the data that informed that decision, so I can't really comment on how they got to that decision there or in Germany.
Just to be clear, do you agree with the president's push to reopen the country? He said some of his doctors that he's talking to about this, he says, I think they're okay with it. Are you okay with it?
That's what I'm talking
What
about.
the president
Good question.
has asked us to do is to assemble all the data and give him our best medical recommendation based on all the data. That's what he's asked us to do. And so that's what we'll be doing this week. We were going to have to do it this week anyway because we had to make a decision come Monday about the 15 days to reduce social spread.
We all get
this is
PTSD from this and
consistent
become
with our mandate to
OCD.
really use every piece of information.
There's definitely going to be
that
some
we have in
collective
order to give the president our
shit
opinion
going on
that's
after this.
backed up by data.
Being
Not
trapped
our
in a room.
perception, but our opinion that's backed up by data.
Data now, you think you could in a week? Like, what would your assessment be of right now?
Well, we're pulling all of the data pieces in now.
Dodging the
That's
question.
critical. I will never speculate on data. I will have to see the data in order to really understand it.
And I think a big factor is the mortality rate. We're talking about the mortality rate. You know, when we first started, people were thinking about 3 and 4%, and now we're talking about a much lower number than that. I think it's a number that will be a lot different than people thought.
The mortality rate is driven almost exclusively, as we have talked about, by people with pre-existing conditions and older. So that has become, from the very beginning, that was our emphasis. You know, when we started 2 or 3 weeks ago talking with one another, our focus has been on how do we protect those with pre-existing conditions and the elderly. And I think these steps were about protecting with pre-existing conditions. So the whole key to changing the mortality rates is not just the hospital care, but preventing them from going into the hospital to begin with, because you don't want them to be infected.
But it's much lower than we originally thought. I mean, frankly,
yes,
it's a lot lower.
Well, you know what the estimate in Wuhan was originally? It was over 3%. When they look outside of Wuhan, it was about 0.7%. It depends very much. In South Korea, it was about 0.7, 0.8%. But I don't want that's like a tyranny of averages. And that's probably missing 50-60% of the data because no one was testing asymptomatics. Mm-hmm. Remember, in every country, you had to be symptomatic to get a test. So we're making case fatality rates when we're missing a significant part of the data. So if anything, it will go lower, but I don't want that should not be reassuring because the death rates escalate with age and pre-existing conditions. So I really want to be clear that although it may be very low if you're under 40 or very low if you're under 50 and very low if you're under 70, there is an inflection curve.
Trump's just like,
people, the average age.
Trump's basically saying it's okay if all these 80-year-old and 70-year-olds die.
There's a significant issue in our older generation that we feel strongly about protecting.
But Dr. Because it's just very interesting, the whole thing. It's an incredible subject. When somebody is very sick, they go to a doctor, go to a hospital, they record it, they're very sick.
This is like a comedy duo.
See what happens. When somebody isn't very sick at all, I've heard people that they don't even know they had it, and they're healing. Then I've heard people they have like a cold, or they have a running nose, or even people that stay home and they think they have the flu, or in some cases they think they have a really bad case of the flu. But all of those people, that vast majority of, beyond vast majority of people, they're not reporting. They're not calling the doctor. They're not calling him. They're just getting better. So you would think it would have to be because the people that are sick are going to a doctor or they're going someplace and they're going to say, make me better. The people that are just short of that and people that aren't even, many people where they literally don't even know that they have it. So now you're building up the number of cases that we talked about before, and yet, so you don't know you don't know how many
He's not even talking into the microphone. He's just
all the people that are really sick, because all of the people that are really sick are going to a doctor in some form, and the doctor is reporting it in all cases. So,
but that's why your question about the antibody test is so critical, because that will give us really a much better baseline to really understand.
So Mr. President, when you talk about how it could be a much, much bigger problem, you said that at several stages on whether or not we keep these guidelines in place. You talked about higher death. Are you talking about suicide? Like, help us understand.
I'm talking about many forms.
Is the risk here a depression? Is that what you're getting at?
We're talking about tremendous. Number one, it's the country itself. You're talking about tremendous disruption economically, but you're talking about massive depression, massive numbers of suicide.
You mean economic depression?
No, I'm not talking about economic, although you could be talking about that too.
So
what I'm talking about is
depression.
People suffering massive depression because they
that
have a
is
fantastic
true.
job, and now they have no idea, what's going on. Now, here's the good news.
Mental health
if they
crisis
get the bill
of this
passed, we're taking care of those people. We're going to really take good care of those people, beyond what any country has done for people. But there's never been anything like this. No, I'm talking about where people suffer massive depression, where people commit suicide, where tremendous death happens.
People are spending way too much time on Twitter, which is horrible for your mental health.
Where you really hurt a country. It could take years and years to recover. And the longer you stay out, the harder it is to recover. I happen to think that you're going to have, they call it the V. I think you're going to have a very big bounce back. I think it's going to be very big. We'll see. Well, I think the bill should pass. It should pass quickly. Take care of our workers. Take care of the companies that pay those workers. Help those companies over this rough patch. But the longer it takes, the harder it is to come back. I'd like to be able to bounce back to where we were. And ultimately, I think we're going to be even further than that. But I'm just saying that what's happening when I say the cure, and the cure could be worse than the problem itself, right?
I'm just looking deep into his face.
We can't let that happen. We've learned so much, and
never really watched him talk for this long.
For our country, we can't let this continue to go on. So, what we're doing is we're meeting with the doctors, Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx, and others, and we've already started the discussion. And I can say that I'm a student like your students. We're all learning this together. I learned a lot from Deborah. I learned a lot from Tony. I learned a lot from a lot of people that this has been their life's work. I've learned a lot. We're going to come up with a date, and we're going to do two things. We can do two things at one time. At the same time, we're going to be very vigilant. We're going to be so vigilant. in terms of all of the things that we have to do that we've been talking about for the last
Hey,
few
Sharp
weeks,
Ranger.
ad nauseum. And I think it's going to be ultimately a far better solution for our country. Yeah, please, go ahead.
What advice is Dr. Fauci?
Deborah, why don't you go back? And we want her to go back to work immediately. Thank you. Great job. Thank you, Deborah.
Can I have one more question?
Yeah. Deborah? One more. Come on. They won't let you go.
So there's still 1 week left to go and 15 days to slow the spread. Doesn't talk of reopening the government quickly undermine that? I mean, why would...
Oh yeah, I got a lot of thoughts. I'll share some after.
Actually, it should reinforce it, because if people know that we're considering and trying to understand the impact of the good work that they have done, I think it reinforces them to do good work for the next whatever it is, days, weeks in the future, because it says to them, we're looking very carefully of the impact that the work that you did, the selflessness that you brought to this, the ability to stay home with your fabulous children, your ability to social distance, the ability to give up on going to restaurants and just having takeout, all of those sacrifices, the ability of your protecting our elder generation, the greatest generation, and making sure they're safe in nursing homes but not seeing them. All of us have made sacrifices. I haven't seen my grandchildren in 3 weeks. I know other people are like that they have really made those personal sacrifices. What we're asking every American to do is to make those personal sacrifices for these next week and now, so that we can evaluate the impact of that sacrifice. So I think, if anything, it strengthens the willpower to say, yes, I can do this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. President. Sir, can I ask you, where is Dr. Fauci today?
Go ahead. 1 second, please.
Oh,
Sir,
he's saying he's really hyping up the idea that it's going to be done soon.
Is to open back up the ACA exchanges so that people who are worried about perhaps getting treatment,
yeah, they need to do that.
Sign up for insurance now, even though the open enrollment period is open. That's something you can do with.
Well, it is. It's something we're talking to a lot of people about. We'll see what happens, but we're talking to people about it.
They need to open up Obamacare.
Where is Dr. Fauci right now? Why is he not at this briefing? Will he attend future ones?
Well, I was just with him for a long time. And he's at the task force meeting right now. We have a task force meeting. He was there.
Does he agree with you about the...
Definitely not going to be done soon. I don't think it's going to be done either.
He doesn't not agree. I mean, we had a long talk.
We need more testing.
There's a tremendous cost to our country, both in terms of lives and in terms of...
Before we open up anything, I think.
In terms of many, many years of rebuilding something that was a...
Everyone needs to be able to be tested.
Nobody's fault. It just happened. This horrible virus came from wherever, and it just happened. It just happened. He fully understands that. No, he's a good man. I like Dr. Fauci a lot, just so you understand. No, he's not here because we really weren't discussing what he's best at, but he'll be back up very soon. Yeah, please. And we'll be discussing dates.
I'm actually in LA now.
And we are talking about
which isn't as bad, but I don't think it's going to be any better.
So much has been gained by what we've done. But we're talking about not during the period, during the 14 or 15 days, but not too long after that.
We're not testing as much here, so we don't actually know what it's like. They're testing a lot more in New York.
Will you take...
But there are more cases in New York.
...recommendation on this, or are you thinking he's just looking at one set of inputs?
I would certainly... he's very important to me, and I will be listening to him. I'll be listening to Deborah, who you just spoke to. I'll be listening to other experts. We have a lot of people that are very good at this, and ultimately it's a balancing act. But, the expression, we can do two things at one time. And we've got an incredible country. We have to keep it that way. And that includes not just economics, that also includes life and death. We have to keep it that way.
On the social distancing, you're talking about social distancing amongst us reporters, and you mentioned that one of our own has come down or potentially come down. Even if someone does come down in the White House press corps, would you pledge the American people that you'll keep this room open? We're clearly 6 feet apart.
Well, I've gotten to like this room. This room is very convenient. I can say, from the standpoint of
people are treating it like it's a vacation.
States, I really, this has been a very convenient.
Well, I think they closed the beaches here because there are too many people
I
out.
never even thought of closing it. So you're asking me a question that I never thought in terms of closing it. Can you give me a good reason to close it? We could build a larger one.
Opportunity to I mean, you see.
I don't want to make commitments like that because it's not something I've ever really thought about. There are certain people that would like to see a larger room built. We need a larger room. Other presidents didn't need such a large room, but we need a larger room. And there are some people, but it's not something that is really on my mind, to be honest with you. Yes, please.
All right, so quarter two, we know it's going to be brutal. Who are you listening to? Where is the brain trust to help get us through that period? And also, has your opinion of the chair...
Which period?
Quarter two, the second quarter, JP Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, they're all predicting a pretty dire second quarter. So who are you listening to? Where's the brain trust? You have all these medical advisors.
I think we're listening to many
Where
people.
where are you on No Neg?
I know many of those people. I have many people,
Maryland?
friends of mine, some enemies also.
It's not so bad, but it's climbing.
It's been a good world for me. I like that world. I like those people. They're tough and they're smart. But I listen to many of them. Ultimately, they all go into that computer, and I say, this is what we're going to do. I have to make a decision. This is a very important man right here to my right, our great vice president, because he's got a great instinct about things, too. So I'm going to be listening to Mike. He's headed up the task force, I think, brilliantly. I think it's going to go down as that because he's really done a job. He's been...
Another Scone, what's up?
Soothing. He's really been great for the
No,
American public.
I still cannot believe that Donald Trump is our president. It will never be
there is a solidity
comprehensible to me.
That you don't find in many people. He's been soothing. He's been good for the American public. They have confidence in him. I think he's done an incredible job. And his advice is very, very important to me. So he's going to be making, I mean, he didn't come from that world, the world of finance, but he understands the world of finance.
Not much is good, man.
They did very well financially, too.
I'm getting a kitten. That's good.
Well, I could give you a whole list, and we'll probably even set up committees. I'd rather not give you one because then I'm going to leave out. I have spoken to so many people, and I'm...
Turned on the spigot today.
What?
Are you happy with the Fed now that he's turned on the spigot?
I am happy with him, yes. I think he's... I really think he's caught up.
Canada have over 2,000 cases. Sort of slowing down up there, but
because of the decision he made over the last, he's really stepped up over the last week. And I have to tell you, I called him today, and I said, Jerome,
didn't Trudeau's wife have it?
You really did it. It might be. He was, a little bit slower than I would have liked in the sense of what he was doing. Now, other people might have liked it. But today I called up Jerome Powell, and I said, Jerome, you've done a really good job. I was proud of him. That took courage. And ultimately, you're going to see the fruits. Now, he's not finished. I mean, he's got other arrows in the quiver, or whatever they say. I will tell you, he's got plenty of arrows. But, no, I'm very happy with the job he did.
Mr. Vice President, you said that you'd bring the Secretary of Education here either yesterday or today. Why isn't she here today, and can we expect her this week? Also, yesterday you said you had some guidance for us on people who had potentially been exposed to the virus returning to work sooner. Do you still expect that guidance?
Yes, thank you for the question. I spoke to the Secretary of Education today, and we're going to have her at the podium very soon. The Department of Education...
It's impossible to get a test here. You can't get a test. Rich people are getting tests here. I read an article about how easy it is for rich people to get tests, which is kind of outrageous. There's just like these doctors who serve rich people, and they're able to find these private people who give them tests. But if you're just a normal person, you're screwed. Like if I was to come down with a fever or cough, my friend in New York came down with a fever and cough, but they were just like, just stay home. If you get sick, go to the hospital, but we're not going to test you. We can't test you. So there's just all these people getting tested or getting sick. That's why the numbers in New York even don't really add up, because so many people have it and just can't get tested because there aren't enough. No, there's no way they can get it in control in 15 days. I think what's going to happen is that it's not going to get under control, but the goalposts will shift, right? Where they're going to say, well, it's not about suppressing it or even necessarily flattening the curve. What we really want to do is protect all our vulnerable people. So they're going to start, targeting those people and trying to keep them safe, but they're going to open up everything else for the rest of us. And so it'll just keep going wild, but they're going to try to protect the people who are most likely to die. And I don't think that that's a horrible. That's not necessarily a horrible thing in concept, but we don't have enough testing. We don't have it even under control to the point where I think we could protect those people. So if they just let it go crazy now, those people are going to die. So
in a few days. With regard to the guidance that you asked about,
second wave.
The President's Coronavirus Task Force is in the process of reviewing recommendations from CDC. We're working with the Department of Homeland Security. We'll be bringing those to the President as recommendations of approval. We're specifically looking at people that work in critical infrastructure.
That's a good idea. That's a good point, too. Like, they do want to make sure that it doesn't overwhelm the infrastructure. So I don't know what they're going to do about that. Because, even if these people aren't dying, they're still going to the hospital. So maybe they're hoping that they can ramp up our capacity big enough that they can outpace the growth. I don't know.
Whenever possible, except for people working in critical infrastructure. And the guidance that we're looking forward to unpacking is how people who may have come
New York is doomed.
Someone that tests positive,
they must be reaching capacity now.
If they have no symptoms, would be able to return to work, wear a mask.
I'm very curious, what's going on in the hospital. What's it like actually to be in the hospital right now?
Critical infrastructure jobs.
I haven't really read any articles like that.
And before the public tomorrow.
Mr. President, we have understandably a patchwork of plans at the moment.
I just want to say, while we're thinking about it, China has very much stepped up, as you probably know, the agricultural purchases from our farmers and some other purchases too. So they have a difficult time also right now, but they very much stepped up their purchases and significantly. So we're very happy about that. The other thing, I'm standing here in this case with our Vice President, trying to let you ask anything you want having to do with the subject, which frankly is pretty much all anyone cares about.
No, the kitten's not here yet. Lauren's here, though.
Because I think it's very important. I don't want to stay here for 2 hours and do this, but I think it's important that, I call it get it out of your system. Give us any question about it, because I think it's important for the public to know. So we don't want to answer 2 questions and leave. We want to answer your questions. That's why we're doing this for so long. And I think it gives our country confidence, and it gives, I think we're giving, we're all gaining knowledge. This has been an unbelievable process, but we're all getting out. So I want to, stay here. Sometimes we're here for 2 hours and we're answering questions. At least you will say that I'm very transparent. I think you're going to have a hard time saying he is not transparent, but we take a lot of questions from you. Unfortunately, some of them are repetitive, and some of them are fantastic questions. Some of these questions are great. Some of the questions lead to us solving a problem. You bring up problems that people didn't know existed. But I just want to let you know, so we're doing this so that we can be transparent, so that we can get everything out. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Mr. President, we have a patchwork of plans, understandably, at the moment. Are you coordinating an economic response with the leaders of the G7 at the moment? You are?
We're very, very close to them. We had a couple of great talks, plus I've spoken to a number of them individually. Yeah, we're very, very closely aligned. Please.
One for the Vice President, and one for you.
Lauren doesn't want to be on camera, but
Self-swab test. When will it be available? They said this week, but do you know which day? And do you know
multivitamin to boost my immune system?
The FDA just announced that decision, and my understanding is that they'll be now going directly to market. I'll have a good estimate for you on timeline, but what the president has charged us to
do. You guys doing anything to boost your immune systems?
As much creativity and as much innovation as possible.
Personally, I don't think there's much you can do except
frankly,
get some
Dr.
sleep.
Hahn, as the president said, at the FDA has done a remarkable job.
Cardio 5 times a week, that's good.
Review and approval process for these
exercise, that definitely helps. not smoking.
Record time. We reflected a little bit ago about the fact that we're pretty sure we set a record. I think it was 62 days to be in the phase 1 clinical trials of a vaccine.
Eating oranges, yeah, vitamin C. I mean,
but
the data on vitamin C isn't totally good. It's not.
From a study done by United Health Group.
I think it's more of a placebo than anything. Healthy diet, proper sleep. I think that's about all you can do.
Will become available. We're going to be working through FEMA with governors around.
Lauren's yelling, not true. Okay.
Those methods.
What should I be doing?
Swabs or any other supporting material, and get
I just took it.
This vast array of labs that are now stood up around the country.
That's going to make a big difference because that really is a process that's easy as opposed to the current process, which is not, as I've said, it's not pleasant.
My other question for you, I just want to get clarity on this. If we get to next week, we're deciding, you're deciding what to do with these guidelines, whether to ease them or reinstate them for another 15 days.
Well, we should get some supplements
Will you follow
then.
the advice of Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci if they say you should maintain them for
And
2
others,
more weeks?
yeah. And then ultimately I have to make a decision, but I certainly listen to them. I listen to a number of people, and I have a lot of respect for Dr. Fauci and for Dr. Birx, and I'll be listening to them.
It's if they do nothing, but also
are really doing a good job, John.
But are you worried that if you do this too quickly, if you lift these restrictions too quickly, the virus will start spreading unabated? And how can you be sure that that's not going to happen?
Well, you know, we have now a system, and the system's in place.
That's what he's talking about.
We have
this is the overarching question.
Alternatives that we have to take into consideration. And as I said, one of the things that has really gotten me thinking about this, number one, I'm looking at what's going on, and you know, life is fragile and economies are fragile. But one of the things is the mortality rate, John. When we first started this, nobody knew anything about this particular virus. Very, very little. I mean, we started if we were hearing numbers of 5%. That's an astronomical number. When the flu is 0.001 and 2 and 3, right? And so 5% would be an astronomical number.
It's 0.01,
we're seeing
not
numbers
0.00.
that may be less than 1, and that's not including the exercise that I just went through, where many people don't report. So everybody getting very sick is reporting, but nobody getting, not very sick. And that should be part of that equation. So that just keeps reducing the number. So the mortality rate is that's a big, to me, that's a very big factor. When we were hearing 3 and 4%, remember we had one day where we thought it was 5%, and we were getting a lot of bad numbers from
I'm going to see what they say.
I don't know why, but we were getting a lot of bad numbers. I do wish, again, our relationship's very good with China, but I wish they could have told us about this a little bit sooner. You know that. But the mortality rate's a big thing for me because I think we're very substantially under 1% now. That's it's still terrible. It's still the whole thing. The whole concept of death is terrible. But there's a tremendous
The whole concept of death is terrible. That's a good one.
And 4 or 5 or even 3%. So that's something that we're learning now. And I think the number may be lower than people think because of what I've been saying. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, have you instructed Secretary Mnuchin and the others working on this bill with Congress to meet some of the demands the Democrats have made with regard to...
Well, I thought we had a deal last night, and then the Democrats changed the deal. So we had a deal last night that was going to be phenomenal for the workers, which is my number one aim. I want to take care of the workers. And we had a deal. I was pretty sure we had a deal last night. If you would have told me at a certain time, like about 9 o'clock, I would have told you we pretty much have a deal. And then all of a sudden it changed fairly rapidly, and it was unacceptable. It would have been bad for our country, and they were asking for things that would have not been good. I mean, things that bore no relationship to what we're talking about. We said that's not the game. We can't play that game. So we'll see. Look, the Democrats do want to make a deal, but Jeff, I thought we had a deal last night.
And if you come further into this process weeks or months from now and decide that further stimulus is needed, will you be able to work with Speaker Pelosi on that?
I'll work with anybody to help the American people. I will. I don't care who it is. I'll work with anybody.
Just seems like they don't really know what it is, the death
American
rate.
People and the American worker. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, some states are still reporting a shortage of materials.
Who's John Campbell?
To actually process the tests. So what is the administration doing to get all the states the materials that they need?
Well, you just saw the Admiral, and you just saw the FEMA people, and you just saw the Army Corps of Engineers, and we're building hospitals in New York, and California, and state of Washington.
I'll check him out.
New Jersey. I just made a commitment to Phil that we're going to help him out with some of the areas in New Jersey, which is very important. A great state. So we're doing a great job, and we're there to help the governors. But the governors are on the front line, and they can do some of it themselves. Governor Cuomo, he's been working very hard, and he worked with me on the hospitals and medical centers, because it's not just hospitals; it's called hospital, and another is medical centers, of which we're building numerous for New York, and we have it all laid out. We have Javits Center, and then we have other locations throughout the state, and I think it's really a great plan, and we're going to have FEMA and the Army Corps of Engineers involved, and I've worked with them. We're building a wall. We're up to over 150 miles
seems
of
cool.
wall on our southern border, which is now turning out to be even more important than we originally thought. But I always thought it was very important having borders, and so I'm working with the Army Corps of Engineers, and I see what they do and how they do it, and that used to be my business, and I know it very well, and they're very professional. They're really good. So you're going to see a lot of good things happening in many states, beyond the states I just mentioned. In many states, we're working with Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida. We're working with,
You guys see that they're trying to
Master.
ban all travel from New York and New Jersey to Florida because they don't want all these New Yorkers to flee to Florida.
We're working with many
Anyone who
governors in many states. Actually, states where you
anyone who comes to Florida from New York has to quarantine for 14 days. It's true. If it goes wild in Florida, it'll be like Italy, because it's like everybo's old.
Back to the stimulus. Can I ask a question on behalf of my Radio Pool colleague, Tamara Keith from NPR?
Sure.
She asked me to ask this to you.
Sure.
You just mentioned that there were some things last night that were unacceptable, which would have been bad for the country, that the Democrats were bringing into the stimulus conversation. Her question was, what provisions would you absolutely not support in this plan right now?
Well, a lot of the provisions that they wanted, like stock buybacks, I agree with that. That's good with me. I mean, I don't like them buying back stock. I like them spending money on airplanes and on their employees and their real business, not buying back stock. And I don't know if that provision is going to be put in one way or the other, but I'm all for it. And many Republicans, I can tell you, are for it, and I think many Democrats are for it. But they were putting that out like it was a problem last night. Not a problem for me, I can tell you that. Please.
I also want to know, how much would you want the cash relief directly for Americans? What number would you like to see?
Well, I think what you're talking about right now is at least $3,000 per family of four. Isn't that correct? $3,000 for a family of four, which is bold. And if
It's not that much for a family of four.
We have to build this up, and if this continued, we'll do something else, and we'll do
Like,
more at a later date. But
rent
that's
for those people in a lot of places is going to be like
They were talking about
$2,000.
and $600, and we are all for that. As of this moment, it's $3,000 for a family of four. Please go ahead.
When you're looking at some of the economic headwinds that we're facing, I'm wondering if one of the things you're concerned about is the strength of the dollar, and if there's something that we should...
I haven't really been following the...
we have a very strong dollar, and a strong dollar is good in many ways, but it's also tough in many ways.
I haven't been really following the stimulus debate or the economic fallout of this. I don't know if you guys have, but I only have sort of the bandwidth to follow one thing at a time, but you got to sort of pay attention to both because they're so interacting.
And our dollar, I don't know if
I
you've
mean,
seen, but our dollar's remained very
you
strong.
see it like the way that that the government's going to react is going to be trying to balance responding to the virus and limiting the economic fallout. It's going to be this constant tug of war, and I feel like today the sort of the tide shifted to the economic side, right? Like for a long time that was fully on board with trying to beat the virus. Trump's talking about the war. We have to, make all these sacrifices, and now he's really hyping up the idea that we need to restart the economy, and it's kind of weird. Like it seemed like it just happened overnight, Like what? Why did it change so quickly?
Not good for the country.
You've been very laudatory to the Democratic governor's governor. You mentioned Governor Cuomo. You mentioned some others.
Yeah.
If you get a stimulus bill, I'm wondering if you'll extend this bipartisan goodwill to Speaker Pelosi and invite her here for a signing ceremony.
Well, let's see what happens. I have to see.
Right. The stimulus is very heavily weighted towards corporations, towards businesses, banks.
A while ago now, because again, we're trying to answer every question, so there's no. It'd be nice if you were just exhausted and said, "That's it, we can't do anymore." But there's always hands up. But and maybe one of those questions is great and unique. But no, look, I want what's good for the country. And if that means meeting, I think that's great. I just want what's good for the country, great for our workers, great for the citizens of the United States. That's all. It's pretty. It's been a little while. Yeah, please.
Both you and the Vice President have been tested for the virus. Also, Mrs. Pence. Has the First Lady been tested?
Yes. She's great. She's fine. Negative.
One of the sticking points on the stimulus, who's going to hold Treasury accountable for this $500 billion?
Oh, I think the kitten's here.
Well, you need that to help all of these companies that have a chance of not being companies anymore. And that's going to be a good thing for the country because deals will be made, and we're talking to certain people, some of the greatest people in the history of Wall Street, frankly, where
I'm going to go. I think the kitten's here. I'm going to go check it out for a second. I'll be right back.
For America, we'll take back stock for the United States. At the same time, most importantly, we'll keep those companies healthy. But we can also make incredible deals for the country so that number will increase exponentially. I mean, this is a great thing.
Fund is about the lack of oversight. For Treasury having this unilateral authority to dole out all of this money.
Well, look, I'll be the oversight. We're going to make good deals. We make good deals. But these companies need it. Even if it was just a simple loan, which would be. But we can do better than that. And the companies are willing to do better than that. I mean, they got hit. Most of these companies, it was through no fault of their own. There are a couple where it was, they were troubled before they came in. We talked about one. It had trouble. Nobody can believe it, actually, in that one. But these companies are, through no fault of their own, they have difficulty. I mean, 2 weeks ago, these companies were among the most solid institutions in the world. You'd want to buy their bonds. Their bonds were rated AAA or whatever their highest rating is today. And now all of a sudden they have difficulty because they've been closed up. So you need something to keep them going. But that money is not going to be wasted money. That money is going to be seen, and we could multiply that number by many times coming back to the American public. That could be a phenomenal thing. But most importantly, it's going to keep these great engines of jobs and ingenuity going. Very important. Yeah, how about one or two more and we'll go. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, sir. Are there things you regret in the way you handled the crisis so far? Are there words you regret?
I don't think so. I'm looking forward. I don't look back. I guess there's always something everybody regrets. There are things in your life you regret. We all regret things, but I really like to look forward. I'm a person that looks a forward thinker, I guess they would say. No, I think that we've handled it really well. It seems to be the American public thinks that we've handled it well if you look at polling data. But I'm not interested in myself. I'm interested in the American people. We have to get this going. We have millions and millions of jobs that were solid as a rock 3 weeks ago. And today, there could be questions. And the faster we get it going, the more likely it is that those stores, little businesses, big businesses, medium-sized businesses open up. And we'll get it going very fast. I really believe this is a pent-up demand. I think that as soon as we say, let's go, and it's going to be pretty soon. It's going to be pretty soon. It's going to be sooner than people would think. We're in a position to take care of our country, but at the same time to have the country really go up like a rocket ship economically, and that's great for jobs. It's great for everything else. Yeah.
Mr. President,
well, Lauren's out there dealing with it, so we can't show it yet, but it's very cute.
A colleague who can't be in the room because of our social distancing in Florida, he wanted me to ask, should Governor DeSantis have closed all of the beaches in his state?
Well, that's really up to the governor. I mean, I think that, first of all, he's a great governor. He's done an incredible job, Governor DeSantis of Florida. And on the beaches, I guess he's recently made a decision, but you do have a lot of room on the beaches. And, I think it's just a decision that he made originally, and then he's refined it, and then he's done something that a lot of people agree with what he's done. But he's done a lot of things right, and he's been truly, he cares so much about health care, cares so much about the cost of prescription drugs. He's been a fantastic governor for Florida. They're very happy with him. The whole concept of the beach, it's a very interesting issue. There are a lot of open spaces that includes parks and other things, but rather than relying on social distancing,
the name was.
But I would imagine when we make our
Gentlemen.
things like that would be opened up, and then people will remember what they're supposed to be doing. Well, I want to thank everybody very much, and we'll see you tomorrow sometime, and we'll get this going, I think, really well. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Chen men, and Chen women, gentlemen, gentlewomen. I like that one. All right, well that was it. Wow, look at that door.
Okay, had to ask about the dollar, didn't you?
Oh, now you get the.
I was wondering if I could scratch the back of my head with a finger, but I thought clearly that would be we went in on the dollar.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, did that leave you very comforted? No. I don't know what. That seemed to me like they just don't really know what they're doing. Like Trump's trying to downplay it. He's trying to hype up the idea that this is going to be over soon. Let me I don't know. I'm trying to think of my takeaway from that was that he's just they're still going on their 2-week plan. It seems like they're just trying to use, as much as the 2-week plan probably helps stop the virus, it also buys them time basically to see how everything's playing out, and it will be very interesting to see what happens at the end of the 2 weeks. I mean, the federal guidelines are obviously they're important, but they're sort of beside the point with everything that's happening in the states and the cities. Like, even if he lifts their thing, which the guidelines from CDC now are much less strict than what's going on in LA, right? Like, LA, we're not supposed to leave our house. Not supposed to leave our house unless we have to, but that's not what the government's saying. I find it very hard to believe that they're going to make it more strict after 2 weeks. Maybe they'll just keep it in place and then let the states and the cities do whatever they want. I don't know. Let's see what people are saying about it on Twitter. Are you guys on Twitter? This is where I get all my news, How do I zoom in here? Where's the zoom? Where's the zoom? How do you zoom in? Is there a... Hey, Andy, what's up? They're going to send us all to work because the economy is hurting. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. They're going to... this can only keep going for so long. Add Iglesias. Chris Lowell. Okay. I don't understand how we pivoted from bipartisan agreement on the need for... massive stimulus to Senate talks break down, and Trump decides, fuck it, maybe just let people die. Actually, I'm gonna get... Probably should not be on Twitter. Because I'm gonna get banned if I show anything, huh? Invisible Scourge is trending. No longer this Chinese virus, now the Invisible Scourge. Yeah, you know, these things, press conferences are very low information. It's much more about sort of like the drama of how Trump is going to spin it. How is he going to, you know, downplay it this time? How is he going to save face? How is he going to deal with the media? What's he going to say? I mean, you're not going to really get much interesting. This guy seems interesting though. Where did you find out about John Campbell? I haven't heard of this guy. He's a nurse, YouTube nurse. I think I'm already getting allergic to a random comment. All right. Oh, so he's talking about death rates here.
I've just read a couple of papers that basically are quite disconcerting, so I'm going to bring them to you now. And I'm going to put the links below in the description so you can analyse them for yourself. Now, the first one is from the Journal of the American Medical Association, and it's published on the 17th of March. So this is data that's taken up to round about that time, the 17th of March. Now, this is a coronavirus disease, COVID-19, in Italy. So this is data from Italy, because we've been looking at the Italian data with some consternation now for some time, and this is a bit of a mild, if you like, mild or these categories here. 70%. Now, this is incredibly disappointing. We had hoped this was over 80%, but that's not what the Italian data has shown in the Italian situation. Now, this doesn't mean to say this is going to be universal in your country, but this is the data from Italy. Now, severe cases. Now, frustratingly, the paper doesn't define severe and critical. But critical is normally taken that these people need intensive care
ICU
support in order to survive. And
this guy just
these patients feel
sort of like reads up on the research or reads something and then he starts talking about it. I like how he has this little printout that that's a good little gimmick. He just goes over it with a pen and
poorly for a period of time,
pen and paper,
and may need a degree of medical intervention. Although that is,
I'm trying to think about, like, you know, now that I'm stuck inside, now I'm trying to stream more. What am I gonna do every day? This guy has a good formula down. Does he go every day?
Specified, unfortunately, in this paper, so we're not quite sure the precise meanings of severe and critical from this paper. But if we take the number that are critical, these are the...
He does 2 a day? Wow.
With significant, very significant medical input. Now, in Italy, many people got that support. In poorer countries of the world...
It's not a live stream, though, right? This is a video. He doesn't live stream.
People aren't going to get that support. So in poorer areas where there's no medical support, maybe some of those who are severe might have potential.
5% are 5% are critical.
And the critical
hey, thanks for the sun, Giga Andy. What's up?
Well, probably all die.
He brings up a point. I was listening to a podcast the other day where the guy made a point that this is going to just hit poor and developing countries so much harder than the U.S., but nobody's really talking about that, right? Like, whatever's happening to us, when it gets to India, when it gets to Africa, like, we talk about shortage of masks, of ventilators. Here, it's like, they have that 1,000 times over, so they're just going to get decimated. Which is, like, why it's important to... Well, another reason why it's really important to contain it here. We're going to, bring it over there.
Intensive support. So the potential here for the case fatality rate in poorer parts of the world is actually disturbing to think about. Now, moving on to the case fatality rates.
This is like the important thing.
Remember that the case fatality rate, or the case fatality ratio, is essentially the percentage of people that die compared to the total number that get infected. So if the case fatality rate is 1%, that means that 1% of people that get the infection die from the infection. And this is the Italian data up to the time this paper was submitted. So 0 to 9, no deaths, therefore 0% case fatality ratio. So that's good to see. 10 to 19, again, no deaths, therefore 0% case fatality ratio. 20 to 29, no deaths, therefore 0% case fatality ratio.
I like this guy's style.
30 to 39, there was 4 deaths in the total sample, and that equated to a death rate of 0.3% of the people that got the infection. 40 to 49, there was 10 people, 10 deaths, and that represented 0.4% of people in that age group that got the infection. So the people that were 40 to 49 in Italy, 0.4 of them.
Well, I like that he also is sort of just walking you through the paper, right? Because I don't know, I've been reading some scientific papers, and sometimes it's hard when you just read it to really grasp what they're talking about, because it's just like so many numbers, so much data.
Died. In other words, 4 in 1,000 cases died. 50 to 59-year-old age group, 1% died. 60 to 69-year-old age group, 3.5% died. 70 to 79, 12.5%. So of 100 people that got the COVID-19 infection,
12.
who were aged 70 to 79, 12.5 of them died, 12.5%. And then 80 to 89, we see it goes up even more, and 80 to 98 going up to 22.7%. And the total number of deaths in this sample up to the submission of this paper was that, and that gives a very high overall
Move it up.
7.2% death rate.
Wow.
So total number of deaths recorded up to the submission of the paper, 7.2% death rate. Now, we have looked at similar data from China before, so it's interesting to compare these two. So in China,
but
likewise,
that's like over
in that age group.
Well, he's a 7.2, but that's everything that I've seen says that it's high because they don't actually have an accurate test of, you know, accurate number of how many people were actually infected. But yeah, I like this guy's style. It's like very minimal. He's got a formula down so he can do it really fast. What's his most viewed? Vitamin D and immunity. This is what we were talking about.
Welcome to this video as always. And the subject I want to talk about today is really of quite profound importance, because I've found out that there's good evidence-based studies that vitamin D reduces the probability of contracting respiratory tract infections, both respiratory infections that are bacterial in origin and respiratory.
Well, he's saying the opposite that I said.
Vitamin D does help to prevent those. Vitamin D supplements. So this is just something like this. These happen to be from Asda, but
there you go. So maybe we should be all taking vitamin D, huh?
It could be from anywhere. I've no financial interest in it. Now, these aren't multivitamins. They're just vitamin D on their own. Now, if you want to stop this video now, you can. because I've told you what I wanted to tell you. Vitamin D supplement
Okay.
for the vast majority of people will reduce the likelihood of them.
I will stop it then. He links to a couple stories. Study confirms vitamin D protects against cold and flu. Daily or weekly dose had greatest benefit. How much benefit? Wow. Really? Investigators found that daily or weekly supplementation had the greatest benefit for individuals with the most significant vitamin D deficiency. Oh, this is only for people who have a vitamin D deficiency, so cutting their risk, but it cut their risk of respiratory infection in half. All participants experienced some beneficial effect. Alright. Well, there you go. I'll tell Lauren. That'll be something. Maybe I can buy some vitamin D right now. Lauren was trying to get me to buy some like mushrooms that would help. But this seems like, let's see. Let's see. I wonder if vitamin D is all sold out. Shot to the face, what's up? Thanks for following. Oh yeah. Vitamin D. I should buy some of this, huh? Alright. I'm gonna buy this. This will... Oh, but... March 30th. It's not gonna be delivered till May 5th. See, I feel like this is out. Although they are, They say that they're limiting the delivery of all sorts of things that aren't absolutely essential, so... All this stuff might take a while. Might have to just go. See, this isn't going to come till April 1st. I don't know. I never really believe in any of this stuff. Like, but studies, can't argue with the studies, I guess. Most of us are vitamin D3 deficient. Alright, gotta get the cat in here somehow. He's still talking with Aiden out there. Gotta get that cat. It's content there. I don't know. Is Ice streaming now?
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is not...
Where'd your brother go?
He's not really practicing social distancing, huh? All these people are saying back up six feet.
That's interesting. That's crazy.
Super spreader.
Yo, you want to hang out with us? I have no fucking idea. We're about to go on a nature walk. Want to join us at the state park?
These guys are not...
I'm not from here. I don't know. You guys should tell
These
me.
guys are not practicing social distancing.
What? What is that?
What's this?
Tradition thing that we used to do at 6 a.m. is like a big bonfire, and so they make this huge bonfire.
They wore gloves. people normally, people during quarantine. That's like, I saw this,
We got 8 people, bro. We're pushing it.
The bonfire fell and like killed a couple of people. And so
I saw this video. Let's see if I can find it. No, it's not this guy. What's he? This guy. No, this isn't it. Oh wow, there's more. There's a whole genre of Italian mayors yelling at their citizens. Look, these are all mayors telling their citizens to stay home. Oh. Send the police over with flames.
Non vi posso impedire formalmente di uscire da casa? Bene, vi impedisco di passare il fuoco. Allora mi rivolgo a voi. Ma dove cazzo andate? Dove andate con questi cani che hanno la prostata infiammata? E voi, non è previsto il ping pong. Non potete giocare a ping pong. Andiamo. Alla
Go home, play some video games.
In questa città, il decreto lo faccio rispettare.
The mayor's just like walking around yelling at people. They're gonna start doing that here, though. You're gonna start seeing mayors and like governors and politicians going around yelling at people individually to stay inside, and that's gonna go viral. Yeah, National Guard.
Cazzo di parrucchiere che vanno in casa a giustificare le fette. A che cazzo serve? Cioè, ma l'avete capito che utavutu chiudono? L'avete capito che cazzo da vedere per sti capelli aggiustamento utavu?
Ho incontrato un nostro concittadino che amabilmente faceva la corsetta su e giù per la strada accompagnato da un cane visibilmente stremato. L'ho fermato e gli ho detto: guarda che questo non è un film, tu non sei Will Smith in Io sono leggenda, quindi passa pa' casa.
That wasn't the one that I was looking for, though. There's so many that wasn't even. There's a really good one. Let's see if I can find it. Maybe it wasn't a mayor, though. Hold on. I'll find it. I texted it to somebody. Oh, Brenda Stoder tweeted it. This guy. This guy is really good. You could make a good parody of this too.
Come andrà tutto bene se tantissime persone chiedono di avere fatti i capelli a casa? Il parrucchiere a domicilio. Come andrà tutto bene se tantissime persone chiedono di avere fatti i capelli a casa? Il parrucchiere a domicilio. Ma sti capelli a cosa servono? Questi capelli fatti in questo momento a cosa servono? Me lo fate capire? Come andrà tutto bene se tantissime persone mi chiamano per andare a fare la corsetta? Perché sono stressati. Ma ragazzi, io corro da 20 anni.
This is a mayor yelling at his people.
E a Delia, quelli che corriamo siamo massimo una ventina. Ora tutti i podisti sono diventati a Delia. Tutti che vogliono correre. Ma dove andate a correre? Se l'ultima volta che avete fatto un po' di corsa è stata quando avete fatto la corsa campestre a scuola elementare, ma dove andate a correre? Oggi di domenica, tantissime persone in campagna a arrostere carni, a fare barbecue, ma stiamo scherzando? Ma stiamo giocando con la pelle nostra e di tutta la cittadinanza. facevano delle feste in un condominio. Ci sono andato io solo oggi, di domenica. E siamo sindaco, siamo tutti quelli il condominio, ma il contagio lì è. Stare a casa significa stare solo con la propria famiglia, non con i vicini di casa. Che poi voglio vedere sti vicini di casa che confidenza avete. Tuttora sti buon vicinato c'è a Delia. Tutti sti buoni rapporti di vicinato ci sono a Delia. Gente che per fare il cartellone andrà tutto bene.
So yeah, this is
Perché il cartellone deve essere bello.
all these guys are
chiamiamo
going
cugini,
crazy.
parenti per fare un cartellone.
Meanwhile, somebody told me that Andrew Cuomo was like yelling at people, but I don't know if that's true. I mean, here's how Andrew Cuomo yells at people.
Governor Andrew Cuomo updated New Yorkers today on the state's coronavirus response. New York City has become a hotspot for COVID-19 cases. Some say it's ground zero. Cuomo said he wants a plan from the city on how to reduce population density and has to focus on young people.
I've said it before. You can get it. The numbers show you can get it if you're a young person, and you can transmit it. It's reckless. And it's violative of your civic spirit and duty as a citizen, as far as I'm concerned.
Cuomo says we're confronting a new reality, and
I think he needs to get some of that passion that those other mayors had. All right, we're still waiting for the kitten. I don't know what to do. Guess we'll just play some video games. Kitten's coming though. I promise you. Alright. I'm gonna play this game. I've sort of been waiting to play it. Let's see. You guys know this game? I talked about it a little bit. I've only played like a couple hours, but it's been a pretty... I don't know, I find it like a very relaxing thing to play right now. It's sort of like slow, very nerdy, very escapist. Oh, let's see. Working now? Is the screen right?
Charles IV, King of Bohemia and Holy Roman Emperor, had a long and successful reign.
What's up?
Rule from Prague expanded.
Oh yeah, it's working, huh? Sort of weird though, is it? It's like to the side?
When the Emperor died,
oh yeah, it's working.
The whole Empire
Sort of weird though. No.
More than 7.
I don't know, I've been having a little trouble with my game broadcast. Is this it? I can't see it. Not, why isn't it full screen though? Let me see if I can fix this. Annoying. Why isn't it oops, full screen though? Let's see if I can fix it. Maybe I'll turn this off. Let's see if this works. the heck? This is not right. Oh, I know what's wrong. Not something with the resolution is a little off. Okay. Sorry guys, I've been having some, I'm just gonna have to try to fix this, because I've been having some issues with playing a game. Is this, let's see. Yeah, it's not, I don't know why it's not going full screen. Anybody know? Anybody know what's up with this? Full screen. This captures any full screen. I mean, I'm just gonna have to do this, but it cuts off the bottom. I'm just gonna do this, whatever, and then I'll get rid of play capture, and then we'll have this. Here we go. Ain't bad. Ain't too bad. That work? Anybody in here? Nobody's even in here, huh? We're just waiting for the cat to get in. I hope you guys are sticking around because it's coming. So yeah, this game... Let me fix it. Forgot what I was doing though. Let's see what my quest is. So yeah, this game is like... takes place in like medieval Bohemia. I have to find I already did this one. I killed this guy. Basically, they came and got my family. And I have to get vengeance. And then I was injured, woke up. I have to go to Perkstein Castle to see Sir Ragstig. Alright, so I need to go to this castle. I'm gonna go to the castle. Or... Get the dead man's ring. Oh, this is a side quest. I'm gonna do this. Side quest. He wanted me to get a ring. What's this quest? Alright. Yeah, because he took care of me, this Miller, when I was sick, so I have to go get, I have to go get this ring that he lost to repay him. I don't know, it's just like peaceful, walking around. I had a horse. I don't really know where my horse went. Yeah. You want to bring him in? Huh? I think everybody stopped watching. They were waiting for the cat, but... Cute.
Stop watching? I have no viewers.
Everyone was waiting for the cat. They left. They're missing it now. Anybody in here? You want to see the cat? Oh, good though.
Let me see.
What? Okay.
I was like, very gentle.
Great.
No.
Let's talk about. Sorry. Are you gonna keep calling him Puff?
Yes. Oh.
I'm telling you, we're waiting for the cat, but they left.
There's no one.
They're watching Ice now.
What?
I think there are like 10 people watching, but nobody. Cat. Anyone want to see the cat? They're missing it. They're missing it. Ooh.
Yeah.
He's really loud.
Really loud. He's really little. So
Littler than ones that you
yeah.
usually do. What? I'm in a bottle field?
No, you get him to go.
Oh.
Stimulating. Missed it.
Stop for a second. You know what I learned? Vitamin D boosts immunity.
Oh, that stuff has vitamin D.
Does it?
So does those mushrooms, by the way.
Like Ty was like, "Oh, I got a mushroom."
How long are you gonna keep them? Just till Friday? And then the guys. Oh really? You're just like
I have to sleep.
right. Gonna be noisy. Is he not sleeping? Hang out here. Well, we'll have to show him next time I go live, I guess. Left. Anyone in here? Anyone want to see the cat? Um. Watch the coronavirus briefing. Kind of boring. Trump. Lift the. Try to lift the.
Why?
What? No, they didn't.
No, seriously.
Oh, look. Some. Giga Andy wants to see. Can you show? Yeah. Giga Andy, you're the only one who stuck around. I would get to see the kitten now. Puff. Puff? What? Yeah, it's right here. He's really cute. Wait, you gotta move it. Yeah. Move this along. Look at that. Wow, he's really. He smells a little bit like formula. How old is he?
2 weeks. 2 weeks old.
He's really loud. She found him in a trash alley by her house.
Not Eden did. Yeah.
Yeah. Eden did.
Mm-hmm.
And Lauren is gonna have him till Friday. And yeah, what else do you want to say about him? Nothing.
I don't love the puff.
What would you name him?
Yorba.
Yorba.
Yeah.
Like
Yorbs.
Yorba Linda.
Yeah. Yorb.
It's so small, yeah. I've never seen a kitten this small, actually. He put a Yerba Mate, yeah.
Yeah. Yorba.
Yorba
Linda.
Yorba
like
Linda.
Yorba Linda.
You put him on the desk.
Yeah, they want them on the desk.
No, I want to see him walk a little.
He's not like
He's
that.
really.
He's not like that, Adrian.
Oh, beep! Yeah, and you. We were waiting, but you finally came. This is Puff. Very cute, very stinky, very scared. And we got him for a few days. Lauren.
Little COVID baby.
Little COVID baby. Lauren is an expert at rescuing kittens.
Yeah. Yeah. I just fed him.
Yeah, it's just temporary. Because my friend Aiden is gonna take him again.
She's stressed.
She's a little stressed, right? She's overwhelmed by taking care of him right now?
She just didn't know. She'd never done it before. She was stressed. Oh.
He's purring. He purrs a lot too. He's both crying and purring. What I don't know.
What
But
do you
nothing.
Yeah.
Just did you socially distance from
No.
Aiden? No.
No. Just bringing more people into the equation.
I know. We're all gonna get it.
My friends have it. One of my closest friends has it. She went to Memorial. No, she went to Mount Sinai.
In New York?
Yeah.
And they got tested?
She had a dry cough and a fever of 104 that wouldn't go down.
And what did she say?
She said it wasn't that bad. Her husband got nothing.
Ow.
Or her boyfriend.
Ow.
He's trying to suck on you.
Oh, God. Got him. Thank you. Well, that's the kitten. That's the content for the day. Huh? Oh. No, it's just temporary. Just for a few days, because Aiden was a little worried about taking care of him. Yeah, I know. Well, Lauren already has 2 cats. I don't want a cat. I mean, I wouldn't have, yeah. I don't think I can take care of a cat right now. It's a lot of responsibility. Plus Lauren has 2, so I just hang out with hers. They're very strange, very large black cats that are a little eerie. You have any pets? You have any pets, Beep? Hold on, let me fix this. You have a Chesapeake Bay Retriever? I don't even know what that looks like. Is that a cool pet? Is that a cool dog? Is that like a golden retriever? Yeah. Can't get my setup right. I'm really rusty. The dogs that retrieve bird game for Hunter. No pets that just follow influencer pets more. Did you follow that dog that just died? On that Instagram dog? Forgot the dog's name. He's just a family dog, though. It's not your dog. Oh. You know what? I really need to... Sorry, I gotta just move my chat in the right... Okay, this is a little better. Jenna Marbles has the best dogs? What kind of dogs does she have? I mean, animals are good content for sure. This actually is not. It's Kingdom Come Deliverance. Have you heard of this game? I've been playing it. It's sort of like, it's definitely like inspired by or related to Morrowind and Skyrim, but it's a lot more realistic. And I'm trying to get over this hump here. It's like very realistic. There's no magic or anything, at least that I've seen. And it's also like very historically accurate. It's about like medieval Bohemia. And so you play this like young boy who sort of gets wrapped up in this adventure, and I just started it, so I'm not very far at all. I just starts with you're in your town, and the town gets raided by these guys who work for the king, and my whole family got killed, and now I'm sort of on my own. I was a blacksmith's son. It's on PC. This is on PC, but they have it for PS4 and Xbox. I don't know if it's on Game Pass, though. There's a few Chihuahua named Marvels and a few Greyhounds, 2 of them Italian Greyhounds. Wow, that's a lot of dogs. Why don't you have a dog? You like dogs? Four dogs. That's too many dogs. Let's see where I'm going here. I gotta get this ring. I have to find a spade. Not have a spade. This is me. Not financially capable at the moment. Yeah. I mean, it is a lot of money, right? Especially if they get sick. I just don't have, like, I don't know, I travel, well, not traveling now, but I usually travel a lot. Sort of hard to find animal care. Okay, so I'm gonna go find this ring that... Ooh, look at this, Gallows Hill. Yeah. The ring is around here. Oh, I need a spade. Where is the spade, though? I'm going to need a spade. To buy a spade? Trying to buy a spade somehow? The guy stole my sword too. That's the main quest, but now I'm just trying to... Let's see, maybe I can find... It's an axe. Oh.
Hey, who's there?
Can I talk to this guy?
Lost something here?
Executioner. Training.
This is a bit, but recently you buried a convict, and this convict.
Yeah, see, I need to find the ring here.
Was a family man. He left 3 young children, and I thought it might ease their...
Oh, I'll change it.
The ring their father had on him in his final hour. I'm sure you wouldn't bury him with such a valuable thing.
I'm trying to find the ring. Oh, I got it.
You're
right, I do have the ring. But actually, it's a worthless bauble. You can have it for a few groschen.
It's a deal.
Here it is.
Here we go.
What? This is nothing but an ordinary copper band. It's not worth a 10 penny.
What? Hold on. What? Oh. Lauren is bottle feeding the kitten now. I will change the title. Fix this here with what? I'm just gonna play for a little bit and then I don't know. I think this is I've just found that this is a good game right now because it's like relaxing, escapist. Did I change the game that I'm playing? Or just leave it on web show? Got the ring. Now I have to go back to the Ernest the chicken. Yeah, these chickens are funny. Boop, boop, boop. So now I gotta go back to this miller. Oops. This guy saved my life, so I have to go repay him by getting this ring. Forgot why he wanted the ring. And I could buy it. Can I get the... Fine. Wait. I'm gonna turn the volume up a little. What do you mean? You want me to look up how to make him go to the bathroom? Okay. Well, bring him in here. What? Oh no, but just bring him in here while I'm looking it up. Okay. Sorry, I gotta now. Here, let me move this. I gotta look up, you gotta tell me what I need to look up, though. I guess I have to look up how to make the kitten poop. You need to look up instructions for the cat. This guy? Is this Peshek? No. Where's my buddy? Still not there. One of the annoying things about this game is it has a really low endurance gauge. You can't run very much. What? You want to bring him in? We can look it up together. This is him.
God be with you.
I'll have that ring for you.
Good. Nice to know you're the sort of lad I can trust with a job like that. Now run with the ring to Wojciech, the miller in Kohelnitz. He'll have some work for you, and I'll have something for you soon too. A clever fellow like you will never want to work. At the very least, I'll buy risky goods from you. I mean the kind that used to belong to someone else and you can't sell to just anyone.
Happy.
Full screen kitten. Alright, hold on. Beep wants to see. Beep? Beep is one of my best viewers. Yeah.
Do you see him?
See him?
Stop crying.
Oh, Beep says cat heart. Yeah, so. Oh, he's playing. He's really cute. He's saying hi to you. He's saying hi, Beep. So we need to figure out how to make him poop. There's a way to make him poop?
Yeah.
He doesn't just go by his
You
own?
have to stimulate.
Stimulate them? You can do that. That scratched me. Ooh.
Yeah, he is really extremely fun.
Finally got some content in here. Lauren brings the content. Okay, let's look up. Let's look up how to. What should I Google to look that up?
Hi. Beep.
Beep.
That's a good name for the kitten.
Beep is a good name, yeah. For a kitten, Beep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look up. What should I look up? I'm gonna change the title. Clickbait. What's clickbait?
Hi.
he thinks my beard is
Other. You kind of look like him.
I look like him? I'm allergic to him. Look. Okay. So we're looking up how to make the cat go to the bathroom. So you just Google kitten bathroom?
Kitten, how to make a kitten.
Stimulating kittens.
Stimulating kitten. Do you have a washcloth? Oh yeah, he's that old.
Pat its butt? No, I don't think that's it. Is that what it is? At each fitting, stimulate the kitten to use the bathroom. Use a soft, absorbent, disposable cloth.
Got that?
Avoiding harsh products like heavy paper towel. I do. Oh, disposable cloth. I don't
I
know.
have that. I have it. I'll use this thing. I have to warm it up, so you have to hold it.
Okay, The body position for stimulant kittens can vary. Some people prefer to sit the kitten upright on a table.
Why don't you watch a YouTube video?
Okay, I'll watch a YouTube video. I'm really allergic to this stuff.
Putting them baby kittens in poop.
Hey everyone. Today I'm going to
Is this? Why is it input one?
you have to help them do that. No, you do not have to lick them, but you do have to help them go to the bathroom every
You don't have to lick them.
The way you're going to do that is by gently rubbing them all around this area to stimulate elimination. At home, I prefer using a soft tissue like this and just keep a box of tissues next to me. I'll bring some Kleenex with me in a packet. Just throw it in my bag so that I have something to use when I'm on the road. But even if you're out and about with your kittens, you can grab a roll of soft toilet paper to use.
Oh, I have that.
You don't want to use anything that's too rough. You don't want to use, a paper towel or a hand towel from a public restroom or anything that's going to be too rough. You want something that is nice and soft. You also might want to grab some organic baby wipes, something that's fragrance-free and gentle to help
I don't want to
clean them up.
I don't want to use my toilet paper. That's
And then, of course,
gold
grab
right
some
now.
hand sanitizer or some soap just to make sure you're keeping your
you need both hand
So I
sanitizer
grabbed
and
my tissue and I'm
toilet
about
paper.
to stimulate him. Some people
I have
will
hand
dunk
sanitizer.
this in a little bit of warm water just to make it wet. You don't necessarily have to do that. The most important thing is that it's soft and that you're not rubbing too hard.
Oh, gross.
And I prefer to do it with them on their back so that I can see what's going on. It doesn't make quite as much of a mess. You can easily tell when they're done.
It does look like a rat. That's about as big as this guy.
Yeah, a little bit.
I do this every time before I feed them. You'll be surprised how fast this food passes through their bodies, especially when they're this little. And I just very gently stimulate. You can see she kind of relaxes when you start to do it. You can see that the tissue is becoming wet. I'm going to just keep rubbing until I see that she's no longer peeing. And you can see that she's also going to poop.
Ew.
The kittens should pee every single time that you feed them, but they should only poop a couple times a day at this age. When they get older, it's normal for them to poop maybe once a day. And it's normal for bottle baby poop when they're this little to be pretty yellow. The important thing is that it has a solid form. So you can see that his is, somewhat solid, but a little bit loose.
So yellow. Ugh,
Not the
that is
most
gross.
perfect poop, but not too bad. So that's what a bottle baby poop kind of looks like. So now I'm going to take my organic baby wipes and I'm just going to clean him up. One thing that happens with kittens is they get something called urine scald. So when you're peeing them, you can see the pee is kind of going all around. And even if it seems like it's dry, you still want to wipe the area because they're so sensitive that if urine is building up in this area, it can actually burn their skin. And you're going to end up with a kitten that has a very raw, irritated backside, which is not good for anybody. If you do find that your kitten has a really sensitive butt or is really raw down here, you can help give them a little bit of comfort with a soothing product.
Sensitive
Something
butt.
like Aquaphor is really good. This is just an ointment. But of course, the most important thing is to help just keep them really, really So she's a good example of a nice, clean-looking kitten. Her butt looks very comfortable. Her fur is soft. If you get a kitten that has serious
in
mess
nature
back here, something I like to refer to as a poop explosion. If they've got a lot of poop or a lot of urine residue back here, then you're going to want to do more of like a dip in warm water with some dish soap or some baby soap just to keep the area nice and clean. Once they hit 3 weeks old, you can introduce them to their box and get them trained. But until they reach that age, it's your job to help. Be really careful if you see diarrhea in these guys. Diarrhea can be a big issue, right? Because they can dehydrate. So if you're seeing diarrhea, make sure that you're also supporting them with food. Sometimes you might even have.
Okay, well, let's try to use a
All right.
By making sure you're eating
You ready?
the correct amount,
What do you need?
that you are treating them for any things they might
Do you
have,
have like a
and talking
sheet
to a
or
vet.
something we could clean?
Well, what?
I don't know.
You don't have to do it in front camera.
Yeah.
But you know how to do it. Okay.
You have a
Let's get to pooping little Puff. Lauren said she wants to do it in private, so we gotta protect Puff's privacy.
ew.
What? What? You don't want to do it? All right. Good luck. I'm curious. I mean, that would be good content, but Lauren's still working her way up. Let me know how it goes. You'd probably be able to hear it while. He's going? Let me see. All right, he's going. He's going. He's just like not super happy about it. But I guess like in nature they just the cat just licks it, huh? I never knew that. Learning things every day. I don't know if I would be put out to take care of a kitten that small. But all right. I should probably go. I'm gonna go help Lauren. Got a good 3 hours in. I'm gonna end it. I'll be back tomorrow though. Oops. Gotta fix my. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. Have a good night. Be safe.